Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. To Krispy. Krispy can't see shit.
What?
Right
Who
now.
said that? What?
Hey everyone, welcome to
Who's
4.
there?
Oh my god. I'm gonna try that again. Hello everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 561. It is June 29th, 2018, and my name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons.
What up?
The Rad Gamer.
The Rad.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And blind Chris Guthridge.
Hello.
Who's wearing both eye patches that he brought home from E3 today.
I wanted to experience our podcast as our listeners do.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna wear those for the entire show?
I don't know. We'll see.
It's making me mildly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I am too.
So, of course, this is...
Nolan, do you have a hot dog?
What?
Yeah, I have a sausage. Will that work?
Time to improvise.
Wait, what are we talking about?
That's an Elgin sausage.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
good.
Real quick,
Yep.
some housekeeping. This is, of course, the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. There's a few things I want to do. I want to start the podcast off because we're very late at this, and I haven't done it in a couple months. We've been very busy, and E3 happened, and all this jazz. We haven't announced a winner of our monthly giveaways in a while. So I want to get back on track doing that, so I have 2 winners to announce tonight for May and June. And I know one of them is in chat tonight. So I want to get this out of the way. Congratulations, Krita.
Critter!
You
Damn.
are the winner. You can pick any game you want up to a $60 value, and we will send you that game. So congratulations, Krita.
$60 US, right?
I've sent it overseas before.
No, but I mean, like,
Oh,
$60.
yeah,
That's a good deal for her, though,
Yes.
right?
$60 US. Yeah. So anyways, I will be in touch with you, Krita, and you can let me know which game you want, and we will send you that game. Thank you for supporting us, for listening, for commenting. And the other winner, who I know is not in chat, or I don't think he's in chat, unless he's lurking. He could be lurking. Is someone who left a comment on one of our podcasts. He's actually done several podcasts over the past few months. Drew327. Drew327, I will be reaching out to you as well.
Would you say you drew his name?
I did. Drew is... God damn it, Nolan. Anyways, we will be giving...
Is Drew short for something?
Andrew?
Andrew! That makes so much sense!
Drewbert?
Wow.
Drufus?
That's, the funny thing is,
Drewford?
I didn't pick up on that
If
either.
I have another son, I'm going to name him
Drunard.
Andrew, but it's going to be D-R-O-O.
Drew?
Krita says...
Like
in,
Drew?
Krita in chat
Andrew.
says, crying IRL.
Droopy?
Well,
Man,
congratulations.
I never knew that.
Ever?
Drew?
Man.
It didn't just like temporarily slip your
I
mind.
didn't
like
name
every
Henry
Drew.
Andrew because I thought everyone was going to call him Andy,
Well, they could've
but
called him
he could have
Drew.
just been a Drew.
And that would have been worse.
Then he could have been a Druid.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, what are we even doing more?
And
Anyways,
Drew sounds like a little dweeby, though.
I just want to remind
Drew.
everyone
All names
we
suck.
try to do these giveaways once a month. If you were interested and you want to try and to win a game, all you have to do really is kind of get involved with the podcast. If you listen to the show on the regular, whether it's live or whether you do it on the go, head over to 4playernetwork.com. If you have any thoughts on anything that we talk about during the episode, leave us a comment. Respond to something that we said on the show, and that automatically enters you for a drawing. For the drawing, you also get entered every time you retweet our podcast when the podcast tweet goes up at the end of the week on Saturday mornings.
Nick, I don't want to interrupt again, but
But you're going to anyways.
is
Here we go.
Bert short for anything?
Bert?
Robert?
Bertram?
Is it Robert? Dude, my mind is fucking blowing.
Wait, okay, first of all, I don't think that's the case. I don't think Bert is short for Robert.
But you can't call a baby Bert.
You could call a person named Robert.
Imagine
Bert.
a little baby and calling him Bert.
Hey, Bert.
What about Bertram?
Bertram?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Bertram.
maybe. But that's a B-E-R, right?
As opposed to...
Isn't Bert with a U?
Yeah.
Yes, Bert is with a U.
Yeah, but you can call people who are named Robert Bob, and
Yeah.
that's with a B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird, by the way. That is very weird.
Just like Bill from William. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Bert from Robert makes sense to me. I think that's true.
Why not Roe?
Ro?
So is it actually Robert Reynolds?
Yes?
We could look it up.
I bet that's the case. Anyways, before we get distracted again, That's everything you need to know about our giveaways.
Gilbert.
Shut the fuck up,
You're
Brad.
killing this
Sorry.
podcast,
Sorry.
Brad.
No,
You're killing it.
Sorry.
That's
the
so
last one.
Speaking of
Archie.
killing it, guys, I also want to thank everybody who has commented on my Resident Evil retrospective post that I have on the site. I asked people to tell me what their favorite Resident Evil games are because I'm doing a several month long series run on the feed. I'm playing Resident Evil 0 right now, and I'll be playing a bunch of games in the series leading up to the remake of Resident Evil 2. There's a post up on the site right now if you want to go tell me what your favorite game is in the series. I'm personally responding to everyone who leaves a comment, and I think I've gotten through all the current comments. So head on over to 4playernetwork.com. Let me know what your favorite game in the series is,
Any
and I will
surprising
respond
answers?
to it. Hello, let me think.
Did anybody say Alan Wake?
What? No, Brad, you're bending the rules. It's
I
got to
know,
be a
I
real
know.
Resident Evil game.
I know.
I had a few people who said they didn't like 4 as much as...
That's not new.
Sometimes people are wrong.
Yeah, sometimes people are wrong.
Fair enough. I don't even care what your opinion is. I just want to know, and I'll talk to you about whatever game in the series is, whatever. So what else? There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember what it was. I will say this: Discord. If you have not joined our Discord, please do. It's free. Discord.gg/4player is where you'll find us and the rest of our lovely community at all times. It's a great place to be. And you can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. We're going to read questions in the second half from our supporters on Patreon.
Yep.
But without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Nolan because he had a story. I don't know what this story is. This could be a train wreck.
Nobody
Story
does.
time.
Literally only one person in the world knows this
Is that
story.
Bernadette?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So
It's a personal story.
Yeah, some of y'all might not know.
This happened in the...
Like a little over a year ago, I was in... I fucked up my shoulder. And I had to do like 12 weeks of PT.
That's physical therapy,
And-
not playable teaser.
Correct. And so I did those 12 weeks of PT, continued it on my own for a while afterwards, and I figured, yeah, my shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. Everything's feeling great. Like a month ago, I went to the gym with some of my coworkers. They're like, hey, you want to go to the gym during lunch break? We'll play some basketball. Yeah, sure, why not? We go. Basketball court's full. So they're like, hey, you want to work out instead? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't worked out in forever. Let's please do it. My shoulder starts fucking killing me. Like I couldn't even sleep that night. It hurt so bad. So I went
Yikes.
to the doctor. He's like, you might have a torn rotator cuff. I'm like, well, that fucking sucks. That's like very expensive surgery. He's like, I want you to do an MRI. So we can double check if it's torn, surgery. If it's not torn, more PT, more, just kind of working to heal it up. So I go to do an MRI last night.
Oh, he's starting to smile.
I've never done an MRI.
I don't know where this is going.
The only thing about... Well, what is the one thing you know about MRIs, Nick?
Don't take your car keys in there.
Well, I mean, more
it's-
general, but...
I mean, they put you in a thing that makes a big loud noise, right?
Yeah, but what does MRI stand for?
Magnetic resonance imaging.
Yes, so...
I knew magnetic.
magnetic.
Yes.
It's a big magnet.
Oh, God,
right?
what
So
did
no
you do?
metal.
Big old
No
metal.
metal.
What did you do?
So, I get there, and of course, like my
had a metal
appointment was
dildo in his
originally
butt.
for like 7 a.m., but some funky insurance stuff happened, and it ended up being 7 p.m.
Jesus.
And so I didn't even actually get into the MRI until like 7:50. There's like nobody left at the hospital. It's like me and like a technician. And she like looks at me up and down and she's like, yeah, you can keep all those clothes on. And I was like, are
That
you
doesn't-
sure?
that doesn't
There's like
seem right.
metal grommets. I'm like, what about my shoes? And she's like, no, those are fine. I'm like, but there's metal. And so, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. The only thing I've ever seen is like in a movie or a TV show, like, the person lays down, they slide in and you see like the big, like, the dome of the circular MRI. And it always feels like it's like a foot and a half away from the person. Well, fuck that. No, it's like 3 inches from your face.
then
Like,
it
you
starts-
don't have a whole lot of room in there.
And then it starts making the...
Yeah, and it is loud as fuck. So I'm laying down. It's for my shoulder, so she makes me like there's this like thing I have to stick my shoulder in and like get crammed up in there.
How long
And
is it supposed to be?
How long? What?
Like, how long are you in the MRI?
25 minutes.
Ooh.
She shoves like some things up under my arm to keep it supported, just so I don't move. Blah blah blah. And so I'm in there, and I feel like I'm in there for like a couple of minutes, and like lots of noises are going on. I don't know if it's actually started, and then like something clearly happens, and I don't know if it was just like me like ooh getting the like all the hair stand up on my arms and stuff.
Oh,
And I'm
God.
like, is this the MRI turning
Oh,
on?
God.
And so I don't fucking know. I've never done one before, and so then I realize I'm still wearing my wedding ring because I've never taken it off. I've taken it off like 4 times since I've gotten married. It's like part of me almost. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, it's going to fucking rip off. And so like, I don't know what to do.
I'm just imagining Nolan being like, stop the machine.
And so like, it's loud as fuck. And I don't know. And I'm like, it's going to fucking flip off.
Oh,
and it's
please tell me you took it off and like shot to the...
So I take it off and I like throw it. I throw it out of the MRI.
No.
Oh,
Like
no.
across the room.
But it's not a ferrous metal, is it?
I don't know.
Are you sure they know what's wrong with your shoulder? Because
And so the
Maybe
technician,
they
like, I
don't.
guess she saw me moving, and she's like, she turns on the speaker. She's like, "Is everything okay in there?" And I was like, "I forgot about my wedding ring," and she's like, "Oh no, it's fine."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, "God damn it!" And so like,
Please tell me like Bernadette was like in the room like watching this and just sees your wedding ring come flying out of the MRI. She's like, why did
no,
you do that?
she was at home,
Oh my god.
and so like, I don't even say anything. And so for the next 25 or 24 minutes, however long, I'm in there just freaking out. I'm like, is it gonna get sucked off the floor and destroy the machine? Like, I don't know what's going
Someone
on.
vacuums it up
Shoot
and
like
you're...
a bullet through your head.
And so honestly, the 25 minutes went by like that. When she pulled me out, I was like,
because you were panicking.
Yeah, probably.
Time flies.
and she like pulled me out, and I was like, "Oh, it's only been like 5 minutes." And I look at my watch once I get out of the room to where all my stuff is, and yeah, it had been 25
You
minutes.
were wearing your watch
Yeah.
too?
But no, my ring was just laying on the floor. I don't even think she knew.
Wow.
I like threw it. But yeah, it was an intense.
Man.
Tense experience.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen there's like videos online of people dicking around with decommissioned MRI machines?
yeah.
Where like they were gonna remove one from a hospital, so they just decided to like take all the casing off of it and just like play around with the magnet, and they turned it on and like just inch a crash cart towards it, and it just like picks it up and throws it across the room.
See, that's what I was worried
It was
about.
so terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That
But
sounds
anyway,
like fun.
so I don't have a torn rotator cuff.
Well, that's good. Good news. Yay!
It is pretty like fucked up in there, and I need to do more PT or whatever.
You're
but
right-handed?
yes.
And
And no,
it-
like
and it
there's
is
I
your-
could think of some good PT. I'm sorry.
like driving your car, like gear shifting.
Yeah. Gear shifting is right.
Shifting
All
that,
right. Anyway,
shifting that fleshy gear. Am I
Well,
right?
Jesus.
You're just
No?
hoping you
No?
don't
Sorry?
have to take any.
Was that too far?
Yeah.
Did I take it too far? That's the one thing I forgot to mention
Jesus,
during the
Nick.
housekeeping. I'm sorry. One last thing. 4Player Plus. We have a new episode of 4Player Plus, our bonus podcast. I record that every Monday night, or basically right before my stream is, whenever day my stream happens to be. This week it happened to be a different day. But Krispy joined me this week. We did a spoiler cast for God of War 2018. Check that out. It's
Just
on-
God of War?
Just God of War.
Why didn't you fucking invite me?
He
I
hasn't
did.
talked
No,
I
about
posted in
No,
Discord.
you posted.
No.
Has anyone beaten
No,
God
no,
of
no,
War
no, no.
and seen Jurassic World?
we-
That was like the two, and I was a subset of that.
Okay, have you finished God of
We
War?
talked
Yes!
about inviting you
What?
and
it.
decided
You
not
finished
to.
it first.
I was literally the first one on this podcast to finish that game.
Yeah,
No.
I told him that I didn't want you on the show.
I played some today.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I literally thought Krispy and I are the only people who had finished the game.
Y'all were the only ones that have finished the game and seen Jurassic World. Yes,
I haven't seen Jurassic World.
Oh, well,
I'm the only
then-
one in the room who has seen Jurassic World.
Then fuck you.
But
And
that's not
how
the
was
point.
it, Nick?
We're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay, so was that good? Huh?
Okay. Is what's his face still like, you know?
You got to be
A little-
more specific. You mean Chris Pratt?
Yeah.
A little what?
Oh, I don't know.
Ted Raby?
What the
What?
fuck?
What are you talking
I
about?
don't know. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way in that first movie.
Rapey,
Yeah, his
though.
character in that first movie is a little creepy.
I guess.
I think that is a huge stretch.
let's
But
talk
whatever.
about video
Let's not
games.
talk about that.
we have a lot to talk about tonight.
The point is,
There's
there is
a
a
lot
new
of
podcast.
characterization.
We talk about God of War. It's up on the site, 4playernetwork.com. Go check it out. It's also on our regular podcast feeds, which you can find on all the regular, iTunes, Google, all that shit. Check it out. Now let's talk about games.
Yeah,
Feedback.
I mean, like
Oh shit! Feedback. Thank you.
the first scene of that movie with him.
Oh my god.
Is like, hey, want to go in my hut and have sex? Like,
But like,
I mean,
first of all,
that's definitely not rapey. I mean,
First
she
of all-
totally wasn't into it, and
Yeah.
he's like,
oh my god.
anyway, let's do feedback.
okay.
I did not want that conversation to go that direction. Thank you,
Sorry.
Brad.
Wait,
Anyways,
he said it.
what do you mean? You said it.
Read the feedback.
Feedback, guys. As I mentioned earlier when talking about giveaways, you can leave comment on 4playernetwork.com. We'll read them at the beginning of every episode. From last week, we have Sir Thomas Thipple. He said, Nick. It's not the Deftones, it's just Deftones.
Yeah.
Oh,
What kind of learning
shit.
did you get?
Holy
To
shit.
be honest, he's correct. but I don't
The
care.
best kind of
I don't
correct.
care. Have you ever seen like a band or something where it's just like one word, but you like it doesn't sound right saying it without the in front of it?
No.
I can't say Deftones.
What about White Stripes?
Why can't you say Deftones?
I would say the White Stripes. Is it white? Is it just White Stripes or is it the White Stripes?
Let me ask you this.
I actually don't know.
Do you say the Beatles album when you're talking about a Beatles album, or do you say the Beatles album?
No,
The
the
Beatles.
Beatles. The Beatles.
The
I didn't
Beatles
think about
album.
that one.
The Beatles.
No, I mean, first of all,
The Beatles.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose some cred with
When you do-
Deftones fans.
What about Arcade Fire?
It's not the arcade. I don't know.
That's so
Deftones to
weird,
me
'cause
just
they're-
sounds like it should have a the in front of it, so I say the. I'm sorry.
They're
And you know
clever.
what? I'm not the only one. I hear people say the Deftones all the time, so
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's just Deftones, but
but he goes on to say, but seriously, I get what you mean by crowds ruining an experience. We were talking about going to shows and whatnot. My buddy and I saw Sleep last year, and the crowd was nothing but 6'3", long-haired, smelly stoners. Jesus. Could hardly see the stage, and everyone was pretty gross. I get that the band is known for an album called The Dope Smoker, but can we try not to lean into the stereotype too much?
Oh, dude. That sounds like a good time.
Good feedback, Krispy.
And he said, enjoy the E3 coverage. Look forward to more podcasting throughout the year. We're going to keep going. Gonzo Lude responded, said, Sleep is awesome. Drew327, who's our winner of the giveaway this past month, says, I listened to that Cyberpunk audio. Someone leaked the audio from the E3 demo for Cyberpunk and said, I could be wrong, but the female character sounds kind of like the English voice actress of Triss.
I didn't catch that. Maybe.
To be honest, I'm shocked some people can recognize like voice actors and whatnot just by hearing. I mean, there's a few obvious exceptions.
Yeah.
There's a few obvious exceptions, but like,
I mean,
I
I got
could-
to the
so-
second boss in this
so if you
Bloodstained
covered-
demo, and I definitely knew it was David Hayter.
I mean,
you
that's why I said a
covered
few
your-
exceptions, but like, I couldn't pick Triss's voice actress out of a lineup.
If you covered up your eyes and like Nolan and I started talking, would you be able to tell who was who?
Yes, but that's because I spend like at least every one day a week with you every
Wait.
single week.
Who am I talking to? Who is that?
Are you
off.
saying all
Fuck
British
off.
people sound the same?
Yes, that is exactly what I meant to
Ooh.
say.
There it is. There's the bigotry.
God.
Are you sure it wasn't all female sound the same?
There it
I mean, I don't
is.
think I could pick like if I had to
Double
listen to
whammy.
Triss and not Siri. Siri has a pretty distinct voice, I think, but Triss and
Can't even remember her name.
Yeah, right.
That
They
nameless
just all
whore.
blend together.
Yennefer?
I'm done. Thank you. God, I'm done. Thanks for writing in, everybody. I probably couldn't pick Yennefer and Triss out of a lineup, but maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while since I played The Witcher. That's all I'm saying. It's been like 3 years since I played that game. I don't remember what she sounds like. I'm sorry. Gonzo Lude said The Last Jedi remake is not needed. Thank you for clarifying. Everyone knows.
I agree.
Everyone knows the scientist man from the Red Letter Media already has a plan to save Star Wars.
Did you say the Red Letter Media?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
The red letter.
You're fucked dead, Nick.
Oh my god!
just add-
How many times am I gonna add the word "the" before things that
Has to
don't need
add
it?
that
Haste in
article
chat says
before.
the Guns and the Roses.
The guns and the roses.
The Dexter.
That is pretty funny. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
All right, Krita, who is our other winner of the giveaway for the month,
Hold
says,
on, can you name this the show?
I could. I'll just call it the show.
No, you gotta be the show.
Okay, we'll see. Fair enough.
The show.
The show?
Krita says, and this is kind of, we were talking a little bit about Beyond Good and Evil 2 and the whole hit record controversy where they were basically crowd, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Spec. They were asking artists to work on spec.
Yes. She says, you guys briefly mentioned Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I've seen a lot of confusion about crowdsourced efforts. I'm just here to give a too long didn't read summarization of how most crowdsourced gaming projects work. I've worked on several similar projects and think this might help clear
Greta,
up
I
the
think you
FAQs.
forgot to post the TLDR. Because this is pretty long.
This is a pretty long post. She says, if an artist agrees to send in any work, it is no longer theirs. If it doesn't meet requirements, it'll be edited, copied, or scrapped, and or redesigned. Many artists struggle to see that.
I did bring this up last week.
Yeah, a few of these things were mentioned, a few of them weren't. People who exemplify great talent of understanding the visual style may be selected to sign an NDA, get assigned to specific tasks, and privatize servers of all existing assets in the game to edit at will and add their own. Only artists that are accepted into an NDA or provide a ton of quality work will be compensated with money. A lot of crowdsourced projects reimburse the artist's time and effort with free shit, like a free copy of the game, or a professional reference to be used on their resumes. There's probably not a lot they're allowing free crowdsourced artists to take over here. If anything, it's texture packs, asset assembly, environment tweaking, and quote-unquote little things. My theory is that they're using this as not only an interactive way to polish their game, but also a promotion for whatever the fuck company Joseph Pretty Boy Levitt was going on about. She's referring to Hit Record. Everybody wins. Anything to...
It's the whole premise of the... Well, hey, I think people are against the idea of this type of work in the general because it's sort of devalued. I mean, it's hard to get properly compensated for this kind of work. I mean...
Brad, you're a little low.
Yeah, sorry. You know what? Never mind.
I mean, I'll just bring up, just kind of adding to that. Yeah, it can suck when an artist creates content because someone was like, hey, give us your content and we'll give you something for it. And then they end up getting, $50, $60, whatever. They don't get really too much in return. And then they no longer, like Crit is saying, they no longer own that. That is, they created it, but it is no longer theirs. So the people who they give it to can then do whatever they want with it. They can modify it, change it however they want, and even call it their own and not necessarily give you the credit. So that's kind of the way they do things. Don't get me wrong. There are proper ways it can be done where they can be properly compensated and given credit.
I mean, I think the important thing is that whoever's doing whoever crowdsourcing this kind of stuff has to be very upfront about how they are compensating people. As long as artists go into it knowing what they're going to get out of it, they can make the decision whether it's worth it to them or not in the long run. So,
well, I think that the argument against is that it's a little more destructive in the long run than it is in the short run.
Destructive?
Destructive, because I mean it's just setting precedent and it's devaluing like an entire sector of work. Like if this becomes a trend where big AAA game companies look at this and go like, oh my god, their entire budget for all this like secondary artwork was $50,000 and they're just drowning in submissions, then yeah, we don't need to pay artists to do that shit anymore.
That is true.
Kind of my worry.
I also think this is kind of, I think Brad mentioned this last week, but it's kind of like this particular project is very strange in that this project is very ambitious and may not have the ability to be as ambitious as they would have liked because of the fact that it's a sequel to a smaller, kind of a niche title, and like, oh my god, Butters is like twitching like crazy.
He's sleeping. He's dreaming.
Oh my god, sorry.
He's chasing a rabbit.
But like, it's a sequel that may not exist otherwise, and like they don't want it to be kind of limited by what they can't afford. You know what I mean? So it's like this is an easy way to kind of balloon.
Nobody wants to be limited by what they can't afford.
I know, but like I know,
that's never an excuse for anything.
Well, I know, it's partially their fault, but like they had a cool idea, they wanted to run with it, and this is very much experimental. So I don't know, it's
weird because Ubisoft has like multiple thousands of employees, and they have so much.
I mean, the thing is, I think they're probably going to get a lot of negative feedback for this, and it's probably not going to go anywhere. I mean, at least it's not going to be.
It's not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to become a trend. Because I don't think this is necessarily going to reflect well on that company in the long run. So we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for the clarification, Critter. We really appreciate it. You scroll down just a little more. I think this is our last comment, I believe. Ichis Kid says, expect to see more backlash against Sony when Rocket League rolls out their version of an Epic account. Rocket League is going to have cross-platform friends lists and party up streams when they implement Rocket League accounts later this year. Did we talk about that Fortnite stuff last time?
Yeah, we did.
We did briefly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be a while before they figure this shit out and find a way to kind of make everybody happy. But what can you do? I was every time when I hear people talking about the Fortnite thing, I kept thinking like Rocket League is eventually going to get kind of swept up in this whole shebang. But we'll see what happens. If it goes horribly wrong, we'll talk about it when the time comes. So. Thank you guys so much for your feedback. We really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have anything you want to say after tonight's episode, head on over to 4playernetwork.com, leave us a comment, and we'll enter you in the giveaway and respond to it next week. So, Brad.
Yeah, what's up?
And Nolan.
Yeah, what up?
Y'all both played a new game, or it's a...
The new backer demo.
Yeah. Yes, the new backer demo for Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
Yep.
Krispy and I played this at E3. What did y'all think?
What
did y'all think?
All 5 of us played this.
I think it's a game. or the making of one.
Yes, this.
The more I see and play of Bloodstained, the sadder I get, and the more my expectations for this game start to
I don't
crumble.
know if it's just you're not projecting. Your voice is just coming across really
Which is
low.
very unusual for Brad. He's very much a projector.
Well, let me take it up an octave.
Thank you.
Sure, that actually works.
Yeah, this is I'm I'm really disappointed in what I've seen and played so far of this game. This is the second or third time actually I've played a version of Bloodstained, and I'm pretty disappointed. There are a lot of aspects of this game that are exciting to me, interesting to me. You know, like I like all these different weapon types. You know, I like this crafting system and all those aspects, sort of, you know, in menus and whatnot, seem really cool and deep, and you know, they have a lot of potential. But I do think the game controls well, you know, like it should. A game of this type should. My problem is kind of everything else. I mean,
everything else.
I think, you know, on the surface, I think this game looks really bad.
So do you think it looks bad overall, or do you think the combination of the character's art style to the background art style to kind of stuff like that? Like,
I mean, there's definitely juxtaposition there.
The character model, especially of the main character on screen, there is definitely a juxtaposition between. Like, I think some of the environments look kind of budget.
It looks. Budget is a word. Like shit is another.
Well, so first of all, I will say that
The backgrounds look bad.
Yeah, no, I will say this is still technically alpha. Is it even? Is this?
But I would say what we've played so far is probably reflective of what's
calm down. I'm not saying it's going to look amazing when it comes out.
It's definitely.
I am definitely saying that I agree with you, Brad. I've only played this for maybe 40 minutes. I didn't play too much of the demo. But I will say that I agree with you. It does seem like the background definitely took a back seat in development. I was talking with Chris Davis about it before the podcast a bit, kind of comparing it to something like Indivisible, where obviously so much time and effort is put into every aspect.
We literally played Indivisible moments after playing this at E3.
Yeah, they're both 505, so yeah. And which one looked better?
Indivisible.
Yeah, exactly.
By a country mile.
No, I will say that it's hard to compare those two because Indivisible, every single thing is hand-drawn. So I understand that it's definitely going to look better. But even some of it just seems like a lot of the times, instead of like creating backgrounds, they create a texture and then they layer it. It's kind of stuff like that. When I was in the ship section of the game, like the water looked like 90s CG water floating in the background.
Like I feel like this game could have used like a healthy dose of like, you know, I don't know, like something more akin to like cell shading or some kind of like
and that's what I say. Honestly, I do think the character models look good. Like every cutscene where it zooms in on them, I think they look good. And if the backgrounds were done in that same art style, I think this game would look 10 times better.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be constantly kind of distracted by the backgrounds.
Krispy, you should at least watch the footage.
I played it.
Okay.
I played it. I disagree.
Like I
what
said,
you guys are saying.
Hold on. So
it doesn't look fantastic, but like,
no, I'm not saying
you're talking about being distracted by it.
I'm not saying it looks like the worst thing I've ever seen. There's definitely been other games I've played recently where I can almost to an extent kind of understand. I've seen some games where the character model and the background and things you can interact with are all styled in the same like cell shader or whatever, and it can actually be kind of hard and confusing to tell what is what.
Tell them apart. Yeah.
And so I do think this game does a decent job of letting you know what you can and can't interact with. Platforms, boxes, the character, what's in the background that's almost irrelevant, almost literally like it should be in the background. But yes, I agree that it does stand out a little too much in my opinion, I guess.
But I mean, looks are looks. And maybe the game can look like crap and that's fine, right? But it's not even really what is bumming me out about this game. It's really, really not. I think this game, and I've probably, between 3 demos, this demo has 2 different areas.
That was cool. I didn't get to that.
It has 2 different areas. I think this game has some of the most like horrifically boring and uninspired level design I've ever seen in one of these games. Not just other Igavanias and Castlevanias, but the entire fucking genre. Oh, wow. That like I've now played several areas in this game, and there is like nothing. Like it is borderline non-existent level design. There are some platforms, there are some long hallways, and that's it.
It's
There's nothing memorable.
It's essentially
There's
just
no
a bunch
design.
of rooms, right?
It's a bunch of rooms filled with enemies that are almost as if they're randomly populated. There's no design. To the placement, it seems like.
Well, it seems like a lot of the enemies spawn and move around almost a little bit more than they did in some of the older Castlevania games. So yeah, they can in theory be anywhere.
But like, there's always
there's no hazards. There's no interesting layouts. There's nothing distinct about any of these rooms. You know, you think back to like Symphony of the Night, and you combine certain areas with certain enemy types, and it creates an identity, makes an area feel distinct. Think about like the long staircase or whatever when you're in
with
Symphony
the skulls that shoot
in Symphony of the Night. You have the big spiky balls that are dropping down. You have the knights that like slide along the stairs. You have this very long staircase that is unlike anything else in that castle, and it creates a sense of place.
Like the sewer that has like all like the
mermen that are like jumping out,
like
of course, because of course weird mermen would be popping out of water in a sewer. Like there's nothing like that here. And this game has been in development for a long time. We've seen footage of this for quite some time. It's been delayed. It's supposed to come out next year. Like, nothing from what they've shown has instilled me with any sense of confidence that this is going to be anything but like the most uninspired, mighty number 9-esque take on an Igavania. And it really has me fucking worried. Now the other thing is the way you get souls or shards in this game and weapons, they just dish them out. And this might be just a demo thing, but it's just dumping shit at you.
I will say I agree that I do feel like, and I'm hoping it is because it's a demo, that I'm just constantly getting weapons and shards and everything, and
as opposed to like some other
armor
Castlevanias,
just completely left and right. Every single room, I feel like I'm getting another item or shard or something,
which is very unlike, you know, like obviously the system's ripping off RF Star and Daughter Star of the Soul system, which is fine because that's an amazing system. But the way they dish them out, like, it doesn't even feel like special when you get one anymore because it's almost like fucking expected. Like, sometimes I'll do an attack and I'll get like 3 different shards in a row because like some attack that went off screen and killed something I hadn't even encountered yet, and I'm just getting shard after shard. And again, maybe it's just a demo thing, right? That's a boss shard, by the way. It's really overpowered, and it doesn't even
I got that.
Like it's a screen clearing
at the end of the boat.
Yeah, it's a screen clearing thing, and it doesn't even seem balanced in terms of the amount of MP it requires. You know, it requires a little bit less to throw that fucking axe, and it doesn't even make any sense. You also have all these different weapon types, and some of them are really cool. Some of them have maneuvers, like the boots. If you do like a fireball motion, you could do it up to 3 different times, and she does a series of kicks. She says like 1, 2, 3 in French or whatever, and that's really cool because you can cancel. You can you can cancel any attack into that like instantly. Also with the katana blade, it does a very similar thing, and you even see like runes appear. I'll use one. Oh, I just switched to the katana here, and that's really cool, right? But then you have all these other weapon types, which, you know, this is a problem that like Symphony of the Night did have back then, where you have all these random weapons. Only some of them are good. Most of them you'll never even use, right? But a lot of that sort of stuff has been kind of refined from Igavania to Igavania, you know, culminating in some of the better ones like Order of Ecclesia, where everything, you know, feels like it has a purpose and it's kind of balanced and whatnot. But here, you know, they give you no reason to use like a dagger or a regular sword as a weapon type versus any other. You know, and it's like, I think at this point, you know, they should be doing some more interesting things with these weapons. Like you can do a lot, right? Like maybe make it so if you have a dagger, you can run a little bit faster.
Yeah, sure.
Or a like a mace might like boost your defense. Something that gives.
Is this another boss character you're
fighting? This is another boss fight. Yeah. This is. Is
this at least more interesting than the weird tentacle boss?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was way more fun to fight this guy.
Now, here's one thing.
That tentacle thing was just a rancid boss.
It was terrible. So one thing I will say, like, because this is like the second time I've played a demo, because I played it at E3 last year, and then I played it this, and they all seem to be kind of just improvements on like the same demo. And I'm wondering like how, like, first of all, I'm wondering if this is just kind of a vertical slice of like the very, very beginning of the game.
Maybe in
not
terms of the way they dish out like the weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But
like this
these
fight,
look like areas, and I've seen different areas and released footage so far. If they were really concerned about iterating on a vertical slice, they would be improving a single area over and over. And
well, I mean, what I'm saying is, I think the visual style is here to stay. Obviously, I don't think that's going to change dramatically. But I will say maybe we haven't really seen like what the game has to offer in terms of like level design complexity and whatnot. Like maybe
I sure fucking hope so.
I mean, the ship is the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then the next level is like the very.
I kind of wish that maybe they had decided to show something like maybe a little bit later in the game to give you an idea of like maybe even give you like a better idea of how the character feels later in the game versus the very beginning.
I'm not worried about the character. I'm worried about the level design. And just because something's at the beginning of the game doesn't mean the level design should be more or less non-existent.
I mean, at the very least, it looks like maybe the level design in the game is going to be inconsistent.
Like I've played roguelikes that randomly generate environments that have more interesting stuff going on. Well, like Rogue Legacy has traps and hazards and like cool like patterns of fucking anything like platforming.
I will add, and I know Brad kind of mentioned it earlier, but something and I've talked about it not too long ago on the podcast. And excuse me, speaking of like Hollow Knight. But, like, I kind of talked about, when you have a game, you want the first 20 minutes to be fucking awesome. You want people to get drawn in. And that's something that, like, Hollow Knight does. Like, the beginning of Hollow Knight is fucking amazing. The atmosphere, the environment, the music, just, like, the subtle... It starts out in fucking darkness and then gets brighter and brighter. Then you end up, in, what's the fucking first town you get to?
Oh, don't ask me that.
I forget the name. Someone in
I
chat
can picture it. Does that count?
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it starts out simple... In Dirtmouth, thank you, Scarecrow, and Prince.
Dirtmouth?
Yeah. But yeah, it starts out so, like, whatever, simple, plain, and it kind of crescendos into, like, into the environments and stuff like that. And yes, I agree with you, Brad, that everything I've played so far in this has been fairly bland.
I mean, okay, Hollow Knight, that's an exceptional game.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm trying to imagine this game, like, best case scenario of how this plays out, and like it almost seems like a joke compared to something like Hollow Knight or some of these better Metroidvanias.
I think a lot of games
played.
seem like a joke compared to Hollow Knight.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this genre has been very like.
I mean, this is Igarashi.
People love Symphony of the Night and love Metroid, and that's why every indie developer on the Sun has been doing it. But they've been doing a really good fucking job, and it's been a while since. A Castlevania game like this, and our expectations I think are a little bit different than they used to. I mean, some of my favorite games I played the past 10 years have been of this genre. So I love Castlevania, I love Igarashi, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, I'm worried about this game.
Yeah, no, I'm a little worried.
There's a new Ori and the Blind Forest coming out. I watch 30 seconds of footage of that in a trailer, and my jaw's on the floor. I've played hours of this now, and it's like...
Did that say your playtime was 4 hours?
It seems dire. I don't know. I spent a lot of time playing this.
Man, that's a big demo then.
Well, I spent a lot of time playing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can run around. It's a Metroidvania.
I felt kind of limited.
I guess it's not a Metroidvania.
There was very
it's a
little
Castlevania.
exploration. There was a couple of breakable walls and whatnot, but it was just another empty room with a chest. It seemed super basic, super like my first Ant Farm game.
I mean, I can't imagine why though, considering it is a Koji Igarashi game.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's in a producer role for sure, and a advisor role for sure.
Definitely.
But I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Inti Creates is helping develop this thing. Inti Creates has done some like really good stuff. Inti Creates has done some Mighty Number 90 stuff. I'm worried that this is going to end up being a Mighty Number 9 situation where that was like a super generic and kind of like uninspired.
It was
take on Mega Man.
Don't get me wrong, like Mighty Number 9 looked good. I like the aesthetics of the game, but it was boring as fuck.
How was the level design?
Not great. It was kind of like this. There was a couple of times, where there was some verticality and you go left and right, and there were some boxes that exploded. Yeah, but it was overall like I just could not get into that game.
Well, I mean, they still have time. They still have some development work to do in this game. So
you have all these fucking souls, and it's like shards, and it's. most of it is bullshit.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I didn't get. See, the thing is, when I played it at E3, I only had like a very limited amount of time to play it, so I didn't really get to dig into it as far. I am a backer in this though, so I do want to play.
I think all of us are, right?
Yeah,
yeah. All of us. They already have our money.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I'm down on what I've played and what I've seen. I still hope for the fucking best, obviously.
Well, no, I think all of us do.
And you know, yeah, it just kind of bums me out. It really does.
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe.
I mean, I just to add a couple of things. The music from the couple areas I've been has been okay.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about. I do like that there's a lot of voice acting. I will say that the voice acting doesn't seem to. They don't seem like there was someone on the other side of the mic encouraging them to give it your best.
It's okay.
It kind of just seemed like someone reading off a page.
I think the presentation of it's just a little lacking of kind of the back and forth. I mean, you said the boat's the start of the game, and I believe that because it's two characters kind of talking back and forth for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and
getting exposition out of the way.
Yeah, this is coming off of Curse of the Moon, which I really, really enjoyed. Curse of the Moon.
Maybe if anything, maybe let that give you some light.
But that's a different team. I don't know who made that.
Was that not Inti Creates?
It is. That was Inti Creates, but I think this is also Inti Creates.
Yeah.
Or working with this new team that
who knows
exists to make Bloodstained.
I'm worried about Krispy. Krispy's been awfully quiet.
I'm here.
I know.
I don't know. I really liked everything I played so far. I don't see it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
What do you think about level design, though? I mean, that's my real big hang-up.
Again, I feel like I haven't gotten. I feel like nothing that they've put out has been like, the core of the game. Like I feel like I don't know. I don't know how far I got in the E3 demo, but like I wasn't even like really that far into the castle.
We only got to play it for what, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't even ever gotten to like the main attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, I think this is it. I mean, you enter the castle in this demo.
Yeah.
And you would think that... I mean, think about how Symphony of the Night starts. It starts with a fight versus Dracula, and then you're running through the forest as Alucard, and you go to the castle, and you have all of this like equipment and abilities. Death shows up, takes all your shit away. Like it feels like an event. It does not in this game.
I will say this, I totally fucking lost my thought.
And you're killing everything in one hit when you start.
What I was going to say was
and you feel super powerful.
Thing is, not every game can be as kind of every game can seek to be as exciting and thrilling right out the gate as that. Every game should kind of seek to be that thrilling right out of the gate. But this wouldn't be the first game to start kind of slow and build up momentum and be good. You know what I mean? They may not have put their best foot forward at the very start of the game, but who's to say what this game looks like 6 to 10 hours into the game?
Yeah, but there's also something to be said about a game that starts really slow.
Sure, I think it's a mistake.
Seems super fucking promising, like a Hollow Knight or like a Cave Story or like a super fucking Metroid where you explore an area and there's no enemies and it's super atmospheric and compelling, and there's a lot of mystery there. That's a game that kind of starts slow, and ramps up. It just seems so generic.
Well, we'll see, because they still have development time. We'll see what happens. At this point, I kind of don't want to. I'm gonna play this backer demo myself, but after that, I don't really. I kind of don't want to play or see anything else until the game's in my hands and
I like that there's guns and they have different types of ammo. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm telling you, a lot of the systems and stuff, as far as loot and weapons, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Even if it does kind of seem sort of haphazardly thrown at the player and not really all that balanced, but there's a lot of. It seems like there would be a lot of meat on this Metroidvania.
Sure, but I'm just also saying, for 2.5 years now, we've been playing this exact same demo and just watching it get incrementally better, which means this version, what we're seeing and playing, while more polished than it was, is still very much some of the first content that was ever built and made playable for this game. So it wouldn't surprise me if like what we've seen so far is just kind of stuff that we're seeing what what they put together first. It was a Kickstarter game. They got funded, and then they started building the game. This is very likely kind of like the first thing they started
but
doing.
I mean, look at what we're weighing. We're weighing like what we've played hours of versus what we fucking hope this thing becomes.
Sure.
Who
Who knows how it's going to turn out? But yeah, I'm a little worried myself. But I'm going to play the demo. Maybe I'll talk about it next week. Krispy, you should play the demo too. Now that we have a chance to actually play more of it. You said you're a backer, right?
Yeah.
So you should have access to it.
You have to be a $60 backer.
Correct.
I was not a $60 backer. Roland Hungus very graciously let me use his demo code, and I do appreciate.
Well, thank you, Roland Hungus.
Well,
are you?
I'm a $60 backer.
Yeah, me too. You know what, Krispy?
What?
You know what I want to hear about?
You
Hammond.
want to?
Yeah.
You want to
Richard
do this?
Hammond?
Yes.
You wanna
Founder
do
of
this?
Jurassic Park.
Well, now that you've made that joke, I don't feel like talking about it.
Ruined it before we got out of the.
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Why did I
Crispy took
do
off
that?
his eye patches and now he's blind.
Why did I do that?
Wait, why do you need to see to talk about your hamster game?
I just want to watch the footage. It's really fun.
You're an asshole.
Why?
I did some really cool
He's an
maneuvers in that Bloodstained
Oh.
footage I recorded. I showed off
I-
all the weapons.
I was trying to keep the eye patches on until we went to break because I thought for sure that you guys would want to talk about whatever serious stuff you're talking about before you let me discuss my beloved Overwatch for a minute.
Talk about Overwatch, damn it.
He
but-
wants to watch his
But,
awesome gameplay. He smokes lots of dick.
Okay, let's just talk about something else.
Crispy, don't
Hey,
let Brad...
this is the most interesting character I've seen in a while.
This
in this game.
is the what I think this is the most like disruptive, like completely out there character that they've come up with yet. Like this,
It
like
certainly
they
looks like
added
it.
in like I love Brigitte. Like Brigitte's like probably second favorite right now. But she was a pretty like tame addition, She kind of did a lot of the same things that everyone else did. I think that Moira was pretty cool, but again, there's nothing like too crazy flashy there. It's just like heal beam and destruction beam, Like everybody has kind of been more of a. Every new character that they've added has been kind of more of just like a slight iteration on ideas and concepts from the older characters.
Yeah.
And Hammond, or Wreckingball, as he's called in game, isn't really much different. It's kind of like taking the whole mech idea from Diva and then just trying to do something different with it. And boy, is it different, because this shit is fucking
It was
nuts.
like a Wrecking
His
Ball.
whole big thing is that his mech can turn into a perfect sphere and roll around, and when he's in that sphere mode, he has a grappling hook, so he can latch onto any surface and just start whipping himself around. And when he does that, he builds up speed, and then he can run into people and hurt them.
That's awesome.
So this grappling hook adds this weird huge range of mobility and just like a completely different way to think about some spaces that
that's fucking
maybe
adorable.
weren't.
It's a hamster.
Silly question, but serious. Can you latch onto another Hammond?
I don't know. I saw some weird gifs of people
That
doing.
would be kind of cool.
So Hammond right now, or Wrecking Ball, I'm just gonna call him Hammond because he's so adorable. Is on the PTR, and he's on
What
the
is
public.
PTR?
It's the public test realm.
Okay.
So it's like the area where you can test like the new patch before they push it live to the.
Is anybody
main
playing
version
as a
of the game.
non-Hammond character in this match?
Yeah. There's like one person on our team who's a
What a
Sombra right
loser.
now. Yeah, but actually, like people found out that okay. So what I'm saying is on the PTR right now, you can play as Hammond, but the only like game mode that they really have open is one called Conquest, which again I'm kind of not up to date, so I'm not sure what that is. But then they also have No Limits, which is the 6v6 mode where you can have as many of whatever hero you want.
Yeah.
So all the matches I've been playing have been like 6 Hammonds versus 6 Hammonds, and
Seems
some
like
people have
madness.
figured out that like it's really good to have a Sombra because she's really good at cutting tanks down, and because her hack ability like can keep Hammond from activating a shield or turning into his ball mode or anything like that.
This looks kind of fucking
But
fun.
This
really
is way more fun than Bloodstained.
what's really fucking cool about Hammond is that he kind of changes the way you can think about some like certain spaces in maps, because he can he can exert a certain amount of control over choke points that like I don't think any other hero can.
Yeah.
Because he can do shit like latch onto like an archway somewhere. And in his ball mode, and then just start swinging around, and now all of a sudden you've created this like really hazardous like swinging obstacle that the other team has to move through. He has like a ground pound ability, so when he's in the air as his ball, he can like shoot down really quick. And then his ult is a minefield, like a pretty powerful destructive minefield that he sets up. So this guy is like all about area denial and just like making it really hard for enemy teams to push through certain areas.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
So, is this test they're doing? Are they like working on like balancing and stuff for
Yeah.
the character still?
Yeah.
Because I'm about to say, because it looks like he looks like an awesome character, but he looks like, but maybe. I mean, first of all, I'm not super familiar with like all the different Overwatch heroes, but like he seems like a bit of a, you know,
A wrecking.
a wrecking ball.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the point. Like, he's a tank. He's supposed to be a bit of a bully, and he's a high mobility, like disruptive tank, like Diva.
Yeah.
And Diva was kind of really the only one like her. As far as my understanding goes. So he's kind of like exploring a specific sort of tank strategy that doesn't have a lot of representation in the game yet. So I imagine that when he becomes live and people are trying to fold him into the meta, there's going to be a bit of a scramble to try to like figure out how to deal with him.
Yeah. Because I'm about to say, like, this looks really fun and like hectic and whatnot, but like I'm kind of interested to see what it would be like with him, one or two of his character versus like all the other heroes kind of populating the map and whatnot. So.
And as far as I understand, Sombra's been going through a bit of a renaissance over the last few months. She's become pretty useful, and I think adding Hammond into the mix is going to make her seem a little more valuable too. So, like, I see Sombra kind of being more annoying than she already is. But they're actually, I don't know the details on this yet, but I was reading that they're actually working on a more stealth-focused, complete rework of Sombra too, where they want to make it so that she can like stay invisible indefinitely. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
How do you balance against
it's
invisible
fucking
character?
crazy, man. Like, you know, I haven't played since the Origins event a few months ago, so I don't know what little tweaks they've made here and there. I don't know how the meta has evolved or whatever. But this guy is fucking fun as hell to play, adorable, and I think this is gonna be like, I think post Hammond meta is gonna be much more different than the pre Hammond meta.
Is he gonna get a cool
I'll tell
movie?
you the Hammond meta. There's gonna be a lot of bad Hammonds because
this like
this
that
it seems
grappling
like a
hook.
very high skill ceiling.
Yeah.
And but because he's so fun, you're gonna see a lot of bad.
You're gonna see a lot.
Wrecking balls.
I mean,
flying all over
Is he
the
gonna
place.
get a cool movie?
Probably. I mean, I know they
I want to
released
watch that.
they released his like origin animatic. He's from the Horizon Lunar Colony, the same place that Winston is. So he's another like he's another animal that was super scienced into.
I was listening to another podcast today, and I had to take my earphone out for like 1 second to talk to someone, and then I put it back in, and they were talking about Hammond.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I had no context. I was like, I didn't know they were talking about Overwatch, and I was just hearing them describe Hammond and the Wrecking Ball and like being a hamster in a ball and like how he's like where he came from, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Like, the whole idea is that him and Winston escaped the lunar colony at the same time, but Winston landed, you know, at Watch Point Gibraltar and like joined Overwatch and did that whole thing, and he wound up in Australia, which in the Overwatch lore is like this blasted hellscape and like the biggest civilization, I guess, there is Junkertown, where it's kind of like this weird Mad Max sort of thing. And he entered into the Junkertown like gladiatorial arena. Like he took it. His mech is actually his escape pod, which he turned into a fighting mech, and he entered it into these tournaments to like make a bunch of money winning robot fights, but nobody knew he was a hamster because he can't talk. His voice actually is his mech talking. It's really funny because his mech's really like intimidating and mean. But like sometimes if you die and you'll revive, he'll say things like "hamster revived."
I dig it.
But yeah, it's fucking cool. Like this is really, really exciting, and I can't like I've already seen a lot of like clips of people just doing some really fucking crazy shit with that grappling hook, and I think once like the pro players kind of figure him out, it could be really exciting to watch.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you, Krispy.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
You playing another new game.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
This is Onrush.
Onrush.
Regrettably, I didn't talk about this sooner, but that's because, Gamefly had some weird shenanigans going. But I finally got it. I did want to play this when it came out. This is from a new studio that formed from the ashes of well, you know them as the people that made Motorstorm and
I
Drive
was
Club,
going to say it looks like
Evolution.
Motorstorm.
They were a Sony studio, but Sony just fucking fired them all because they shut down studios a lot, especially these poor European studios. But Codemasters kind of picked them up and picked up the publishing of this game at least. And so it has a lot of Motorstorm DNA in it, which it might be immediately obvious when you do see this footage because the vehicle types
That looks like Motorstorm.
and the track layouts look very Motorstorm, which I love Motorstorm, and that's really exciting, and that's why I was kind of first initially interested. But once you get into it, you realize that this is not. Would you believe me if I told you this wasn't a racing game?
No.
I mean,
There is no first place. There's no last place. There is no end. There's no destination. There's no goal to the physically on the track.
okay, but you are on a track.
I think the developer calls it like a stampede game.
Okay.
like because you're not actually racing. This is a 5-on-5 team-based, like kind of a class-based.
A death match.
Not a death match. No, there's a variety. There's a objective base. Yeah, this one is like a moving King of the Hill, right? But it's a team based thing and it's a class based thing. And every time you die and respawn or wreck, you can choose a different vehicle class. And even within a particular vehicle class, there are multiple. I guess versions of that vehicle class, and that manifests in the abilities and the properties of the vehicle because this game's all about kind of boosting, right?
Are you playing online right now, or are you playing against the PC or the?
I have been playing online when I play, but for the footage, I'm not online because I wanted to make sure I showed off the mode I wanted to. When you play online, it's just quick play, drops you in, and goes.
Yeah.
And it's just... And I don't know how many people are playing this game, but you get online in a match real quick, even matches in progress real
This
quick.
looks fun
They'll
as
drop you
hell.
in there. So this one is sort of like a moving King of the Hill. And you see a lot of vehicles on the map that aren't either blue or orange. Those are fodder vehicles. They exist just to run them over, to wreck them, and they help you gain boost.
Can they be used against other players in any way? Like, can you,
No, not. They're pretty much only there.
they don't slow you down in any way.
See,
right?
so I just got blinded. That's because that vehicle's ult, if you will, creates a wake that blinds anybody who's stuck in it. It's very much about building up this meter. And by the way, they do some really cool arcadey stuff with the physics. And pretty much any time you go off like the edge of something like that, you immediately barrel roll, and you almost always will land on your wheels because that's just the kind of
they just want you to.
You're not
style.
controlling that spin. It's just
You're not controlling the spin. Well, you control it based on the speed and the angle at which you go off the edge of a ramp like that. Yeah. There's even one class that builds up their ult meter by doing barrel rolls. So you never want to go off a ramp normally. You always want to barrel roll off of it. The other cool thing that they do in terms of controls is when you go into the air, if you hit it, if you're not boosting at all, you'll go for like a maximum like arc or whatever, like as far as you can, right? But when you hit boost, you'll start flying towards the ground. You'll like magnetize to the ground when you're boosting, and that's because one of the ways that the best way to take people out, especially like a motorcycle can take out like a Humvee, like big truck, is if you land on top of them off of a jump. And the way you do that is to like get up above them, hammer on that boost, and you'll drop down on top of them to take them out. And it's super fucking satisfying when you do that. The takedowns in this game in general are really fucking satisfying.
I'm seeing like all these different takedowns.
So this bike up
happening on
here,
screen.
his ult is like totally a. You'll see it in the replay. the kill cam or whatever is like a Tron bike sort of.
Like
a wall
the
behind
wall.
it.
Yeah, it kind of builds a wall, and they do a really cool thing with the way takedowns work in this game. In that there's a very specific set of rules, so it doesn't feel very random. Like if the front of your car hits the back of another car, if you hit them with enough speed and velocity and force, you could take them out instantly. But if not, you'll trigger like a vulnerability state, and you'll see it when I get hit sometimes. The screen will kind of go red or whatever.
Yeah.
And once you're in that vulnerability state, pretty much any hit from anything, even a sideswipe, is going to take you out.
Oh,
so once you get hit
to
that
tell when a car's in that mode? Like
because you actually see it can be very chaotic at first.
Yeah.
But when you get into
like
it,
that guy
the
who's,
readability
like,
is
turning red,
surprisingly
was
good.
he in that?
Yes, exactly.
So he leaves like that red trail
yeah,
behind him.
you'll see a mark over their vehicle that shows they're in that vulnerability state. So that's how you know that even if you're in a lighter vehicle, go for that guy because you can probably take him out.
This looks fun.
So yeah, that was just a King of the Hill kind of a points-based thing.
Hey, you're MVP.
There's one mode here, and I'm actually showing a demo video of it to kind of give you a visual representation of what it is. But basically, and I'll talk about when it gets there. Everything outside of battle, and I do think I kind of maybe show off some of that stuff. Some of the stuff here is very kind of Overwatchy, people have described it as. There's loot boxes and stuff. It's all kind of like dances and new like vehicle skins for your cars and outfits for your characters. And I don't really play Overwatch, but I've heard a lot of people making that comparison for like the aesthetic. I don't open up any gear boxes here. Here I'm going to show you a demo mode for how Switch works. This one, everyone starts out on bikes. Everyone has like 3 points basically, and anytime you wreck, you go up a weight class in vehicle. So you're trying to survive as long as you can, but as other people are doing worse, they're ultimately getting bigger and bigger trucks. So it's becoming like harder to stay alive.
That's cool.
And once you've run out of points, you're in the heavy weight class, and your goal is basically just to wreck as many guys or to help defend the people who on your team who are like still on bikes in the lighter vehicles, try to keep them alive. And there are like defensive based classes of vehicles in this game. Like there's one vehicle that the closer he is to his teammates, the faster he builds up his ult, and when he triggers it, he shields everybody around him. And there's some classes that will drain the boost of the.
Can you use the boost to get through?
It sounds like there's a lot of like really cool design.
It is a surprisingly weird, interesting take on what is typically the arcade racer, because you're not typically racing. Like in this game, if you get behind, the game will just say you're too far behind. It'll literally pull you up into the fray. It'll just pull you up into the fray. If you get too far ahead, it'll pull you back or it'll slow you down.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it like pull me back, but I think it does because a meter fills up saying, "Hey, get into the shit." Because if you're not there, you're not taking out the other team. You're not helping your teammates.
Yeah.
Is this a full game out, or is this like a?
This is the full game. It's out, and I was surprised to see how quickly I was getting games. So I think people are playing it. Maybe they're all European.
Somebody in chat just said, "Wow, it's like the copy of the Overwatch UI."
See, I don't know. I've never really seen the Overwatch UI, but the game has a good look to it. It's like kind of a fresh take on the genre. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It definitely looks like something I would expect the team that worked on Motorstorm to go and make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not only addictive because of all the unlockable stuff, but because it's so kind of quick. Going for even after a match and going into a new match, it's like super quick. And I think Overwatch is sort of took a more kind of populist take on rewarding people or whatever. But like in this game does a similar thing where at the end of a match, it doesn't necessarily feature the people who had the most points. It'll focus on, okay, well, these two people, they stayed alive the longest on a single life, and it shows them doing the little dance or whatever. Or these people did the most fucking backflips with their motorcycle, which might not contribute to your fucking team at all, but they're like, hey, these guys are crazy.
You did some cool shit.
Which is cool, and I like that. The other modes, there's two other modes. One of them is just like literally whichever team boosts the most, like builds up the most boosts and just boosts the most in this stampede of a driving game up to a certain point will win. And it is round based. but it doesn't stop the driving. It just goes from round to round to round,
Sure.
and it'll reset the kind of the fill up, and it's just it's fucking fun. I'm really liking it.
This map looks
really
fun
cool.
as hell.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it does seem like really chaotic at first, but that is like super Motorstorm.
Yeah,
and like, given how much is going on, it is surprisingly readable as well once you get into it. So,
cool.
What are you playing this on?
I'm playing this on PS4, and I've been.
Is it a download title only, or like what?
No, I gameplayed it. It's a physical game. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Cool.
But there is a single player, but it's a team-based game. It doesn't make sense when everything is AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. And not to say that you're working with your teammates like so much because you're just going so fucking fast and it's chaos, but it doesn't really feel right when it's all AI besides you. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's Onrush.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Brad. Looks cool. I miss Motorstorm a little bit, but that does look cool. Chris Davis, how are we doing on time? It's break time. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have 2 more quick games to talk about, and then a few news topics, and we will answer questions from our supporters on Patreon. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. But what a great way to start the podcast, Brad.
I don't know about a great way, but it worked.
Mediocre.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Nolan,
What up, Nick?
I want to talk to you about this game because I think you didn't have footage of it last week, and I want to see what the hell this game's all about.
Sure. So when you look at this game, it's going to look a whole lot like Fallout.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, I thought he was going to talk about Fallout, and Nick's talking about not knowing what it looks like.
No,
Well,
I mean
so-
it's more of I want to see how the game like does your footage like display how like you connect between the two.
So this particular footage of Fallout, there you go, A Tale of Two Wastelands, does not show the actual act of connecting between the two. But since the last time we did the podcast, I actually have now traveled between both Wastelands. They added quite a bit of content. So in Fallout 3, you go to I forget what it's called. It's like Capital
Wasteland.
Not Capital Wasteland, but no, there's like a metro station essentially. It's like a port
Oh
authority
shit, it looks
or
like
something.
Fallout.
So yeah, this is Fallout 3. But if you notice, I have a buddy.
It's Boone.
I have Boone.
And Boone was from New Vegas.
Yeah, correct.
Boom.
And so
Boone, St. Joseph.
yeah. So anyway, there's actually a quest. You don't just go up to a train and then you go. Actually, you have to solve a quest. You go to this train station. It's inhabited by super mutants, and there's some other creatures in there, some ghouls. You have to get it back up and running, and once you have it up and running, you can then take the train to go to New Vegas. You get there, and it literally just is the start of New Vegas. It plays the intro cutscene. You wake up. You've been shot. But when you go to do like the strength meter thing, it's just like, oh, you're looking good. Like it kind of skips that because you already have all those skills set. And then you just begin New Vegas with everything you previously brought with you, any weapons from Fallout 3, any armor, whatever. You play the game, you do whatever, and then eventually once you get to the Strip, the area that's just north of the Strip, Freeside.
Yeah.
They've introduced another metro station. This one, you don't have to do any quests or anything. You just go in there, you go up to the machine, you buy a 500 cap ticket to take you back to the capital wasteland. And that's where I'm at now. I actually just recently came back to it. I'm doing some exploration there.
It's very dark.
It's so actually I added it is nighttime, so yes, it is dark because in Fallout nighttime is dark. But I did add some new shading engines, and that's because if you recall, New Vegas is very, very, very yellowy brown.
Yes.
And that gets kind of old. And so I added some
Pink?
modding stuff. What's up? Pink?
Yeah.
No. I added some modding stuff to correct that, and it does actually look a lot better.
Does it end up just making it look more like Fallout 3?
Kind of. It makes it look more vibrant. The colors pop a little bit more. Instead of being like orangey, brownish, whatever, it just kind of looks like you're looking at normal shit. Like you're looking at a bush or tree or sky or whatever. so it definitely looks better. I haven't really tried testing it on and off in 3 yet.
Yeah.
To see how it affects 3 more so. But I don't know. I still have some finicking little things to tweak here and there. But yeah, so one of the major things is the fact that I'm now level 30, like 2 or something like that. And
Man, you're playing a lot.
in Fallout, the level cap is 30.
Yeah.
20 in the original. When they added the DLC, it bumps it up to 30. But I'm already 32 because with the Tale of Two Wastelands, they bumped the level cap up to 50. Mainly because you are playing the equivalent of 2 games. So yeah, there's a lot of fucking content. And so yeah, that's just what I've been doing, playing more Fallout.
You're gonna finish both?
Maybe we'll see. I'm definitely not gonna 100% both.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do that.
One of the reasons I came back here was to collect those bobbleheads that increase your special stats.
Yeah.
And then I will probably do maybe 1 or 2. I'll probably complete all of the DLCs.
Yeah.
Because while I did originally complete all of the Fallout 3 DLCs, I never completed all of New Vegas DLCs.
Yeah.
I think I only did like 1 or 2 of them. And so I'm definitely going to do all the Fallout because I do remember enjoying all of those. I think all of them had pretty quality DLC.
Yeah.
Like they were all like good little like story chunks. And so I'm definitely going to finish all of both 3 and New Vegas
Oh man.
DLCs.
Brad asked me what I was going to play on my backlog after I finish Watch Dogs. And
No copying. No copying.
Maybe I'll play Fallout 4.
Also, you're playing.
Yeah, that's not copying. He never finished Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So the like the mission that leads you from the Capital Wasteland to the Mojave Waste, does it like try to incorporate the setup for like? I know you said like it goes into like the cutscene and everything, but does it try to like incorporate like the setup for the
Not really.
the messenger?
It would be nice if it did, but it really doesn't. They kind of just treat you like you're the same person.
Sure.
That oh yeah, you were hired to deliver this package, and that's like oh whatever. It would have been nice if like you would have like gotten the package,
The poker chip.
Yeah, like you get the chip and stuff like that. But I mean, there is a little more backstory to that. I think like Benny is the one who like gives you the chip or something like that, and whatever. And that kind of maybe would have been a little bit more difficult to do. It would have been cool if they did it, but no, they didn't. The one thing is when you do travel between the Capital Wasteland and Mojave Desert, there's a little thing that pops up that says 9 years later, and I know I think that's from the beginning of 3 when you're in the vault and it like jumps forward like 9 years from when you're a kid to when you're older. I don't know why they do that one.
It's every time you take the train?
So I've only gone once. When I came back, it said 2 weeks, which I guess makes sense. Going from California to like DC area in post-apocalyptic time, taking 2 weeks is not an insane. Sorry, Nevada. Not an insane amount. But I have yet to go back to the Mojave, so I don't know yet. But I was playing a lot of it with Bernadette because she's played I don't know how much. I mean, shit downstairs I can ask her, but she has played a shit ton of both Fallout and New Vegas. I don't think she's played any 4 of 3 and New Vegas. She's very familiar with them, and so we are playing them together and just like kind of there's a lot I don't remember about New Vegas. I guess just because I played Fallout 3 multiple times in the past, like I remember a lot of the quests and I even remember a lot of where the stuff is. But there's just so much. I completely forgot about Sunset Sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of like the areas in the game I completely forgot about, like Novak with the giant like dinosaur.
Yeah,
that's where you meet Boone. And just some of like there's the first time you encounter the Legion. They've like fucking crucified all the people in that town. I'm like, man, New Vegas was a fucking good game.
Yeah,
like
cool.
I forgot about like a bunch of it.
A few years ago, I tried playing it because I never finished it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I got like 75% of the way through the game, and then dropped off for some reason. But I do love New Vegas. I think I was because the first time I played it was right when it first came out, and it was buggy as fuck.
Oh no, it did have a lot of issues.
So they cleared up a lot of that stuff. So I went back to try and play it again, and maybe one day I'll go back and do it. I do love Fallout.
Yeah, but they did as part of Tale of Two Wastelands, they did modify New Vegas a bit. What's up, Brad?
Boone killed someone.
Yeah, but that is the one thing is often will happen is all of a sudden it'll like skip to like a close up of someone dying because like Boone shot someone or something like that. But But yeah, like, so they did. Since I've been back to Capital Wasteland, I have noticed I've been killing people a little bit easier because it was New Vegas. They upped the difficulty there, so they raised enemies' healths and stuff like that. Just because they know, hey, when you come to New Vegas, to get to the train, you're fighting a bunch of like super mutant overlords and stuff like that. So you got to be kind of a higher level to even get into New Vegas, and they did it on purpose because they upped that difficulty there.
Yeah.
So now that I'm back in the Capital Wasteland, I definitely am killing people a little bit easier. You saw me like fighting that rad scorpion. It definitely took me a little bit to kill him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like regular dudes, it's pretty easy to kill. I've been using a lot of the weapons I got from
3?
No, from the spaceship.
Mothership Zeta?
Mothership Zeta, because they're pretty powerful weapons.
Wait, so did you already do the Mothership Zeta DLC?
So I've done 2 DLCs. I've done Operation Anchorage, so I can get the Chinese stealth suit.
Yeah.
Which is fucking OP as fuck. And then I did Mothership Zeta, so I can get some of their like alien weapons because
Nice.
they're pretty cool.
What's the Point Lookout? That's the dumb
So
one.
Point Lookout I haven't done yet because I always remember that one being fucking hard as fuck because those hillbillies had like so much health. I do remember it fondly though. And
Maybe you'll have an advantage this time now that you're
maybe.
level caps higher.
I do plan on doing that one. Like I said, I'm gonna do all the DLC. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely enjoying them. I'm getting lots of Fallout hype. I don't know if I'm going to replay 4. I finished 4, but there was so much I didn't do, and I never did any of the DLC.
Yeah.
And so
Doesn't 4 have like a Disney World, Disneyland type DLC or
Nuka World.
Nuka World.
Nuka World?
Yeah.
Cheater.
Yeah. What?
You're lock picking.
I didn't.
That
was just me. Dude, you saw that my lockpick's at 100 now. Because I'm level 32, I have a lot of points into my skills. So lockpicking was one of the ones. Lockpicking, science.
But how'd you know which angle to turn it to?
I guessed. Dude, if you saw it was a very easy lock. So, I mean, the angle was pretty wide. Don't get me wrong. Go back and look at my stream from the other day. There's definitely some of the very hard locks that I struggled with. Because, yeah, but I have like over 100 bobby pins, so it's whatever. But yeah, no, and so I'll probably play. I don't know if I'll play 4. I just recently I did pre-order 76. So I just recently got confirmation that I'm in.
I will
on the beta.
play 76 if I can get. If I can, what are you gonna play it on? First of all,
probably PC. I mean, my PC is gonna run it better than my PS4 will, so I mean, I might as well.
True. I will play that game if y'all are gonna play it.
I'll play it with you if you get it on PC. I mean, you can
maybe I'll get it on PC.
You can play with a controller on PC if you don't want to do mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I'll play it on. No, I'll play it on. I'll play it on PC.
And you don't mind sucking.
Crispy, the joke's on you. I'm not gonna make that. I'm not gonna make that self-deprecating joke. I'm not.
But yeah, anyway, I have been enjoying Tale of Two Wastelands a lot. I wish the only thing I found that it would be maybe that Tale of Two Wastelands is hindering me on is a lot of the mods that improve the game can be finicky with Tale of Two Wastelands, because not only do you have to mod the assets of the game, it has to be compatible with both 3 and New Vegas.
Yeah.
So it gets a little finicky. One of the things is like one that's like an overhaul for faces, because Fallout hasn't been known for the best looking faces.
Clean face.
Exactly. So there's one that makes these guys, I actually kind of fucking struggle with these Talon guys.
Smooth skin.
What?
They're smooth skins.
Oh, smooth skins. Hey, smooth skin. But anyway, so yeah, I wish I could have the overhaul faces and stuff. But
fuck is going on?
No, so
in this
that was
footage?
the mysterious stranger person showed up.
Oh,
so one of the
okay.
random events during
New Vegas.
Yeah, from New Vegas. Well, so no, there's one in Fallout 3 and one in New Vegas.
really?
There's
Yeah.
like the dancer girl from New Vegas, and then the hitman, the guy in the trench coat and
Yeah.
stuff, the mysterious whatever. And actually, I have both of them. Those I've unlocked both of those perks, so I can have one of the other show up sometimes. So almost doubling my chances that during VATS, one of them will show up and just fucking destroy the guy. But yeah, so I haven't dabbled as many mods as I wish I could, because Tale of Two Wastelands can get a little finicky. And I will say that it definitely crashes way more than the original games did.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like every 10 minutes. It's maybe I'll play like a 4-hour session and it'll crash like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's on PC, so honestly it boots up like within like 40 seconds, so it's not the end of the world, and I save often enough that it's okay. But yeah, it definitely is something I have to deal with. But hey, I mean, it's hard to complain when you fucking smash 2 games together and you can seamlessly like travel between 2 games. Like that's
cool
pretty fucking cool.
Cool that it even exists.
Can you do the hardcore mode for both of them?
How do you,
like in New Vegas, they had the like realistic.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Where you had to like sleep and eat and drink
don't
water.
remember. So when I set up the game, I think there was a question about that, but I don't think I did. Either I didn't do it, or it's not like you can't. I can't remember.
Carry through
I do
free.
constantly have I have my Vault 13 canteen.
Nice.
And so I do drink it, automatically, and so it gives you a little bit of health. But I don't think you can do like the hardcore mode, or maybe you can. And when I booted up the game, I did normal. I think so.
I
It
was
might
so
not
excited
be.
about that hardcore mode.
It was kind of a letdown,
but the implementation was
Yeah.
so like, this is just making it more tedious, not harder.
Yeah. But yeah,
Oh, that was creepy as fuck. Jesus Christ.
Oh, the Republic
of Dave. Yeah,
yes.
this is a good little like side area. Yeah. Dave the president and whatnot. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's Tale of Two Wastelands. I'm still playing it. I'm going to
making me
continue
wanna play
playing it.
Fallout.
Every night when I get home from work, even though I have other things to do, I might boot it up for a little bit. And yeah.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Thank you, Nolan.
Yep.
Well, I have one more quick game I want to talk about. This is I'm going to keep it short because I have talked about this game before, but I am approaching the finish line on Watch Dogs 2.
Maybe you just forgot that you beat it.
I did. Wait, why would you say?
Somebody here beat it. Was it Nolan?
No, I didn't beat it. I never finished it.
No one.
Chris Davis did it?
Yeah, but you don't
Okay, Chris
count.
Davis did it.
But I mean,
What?
Nolan and I
you
got
weren't talking
within,
on
like,
the
a stone's
podcast
throw
about
at
it.
the end.
I'm saying I was convinced that somebody on the podcast had beaten it.
Chris Davis.
You beat everything. You don't count.
No, he only beats the division.
He does beat a lot of games. When we're like, oh, well, I'm getting there. Chris Davis was like, I already beat it, and then added 100 more hours to Metal Gear Survive.
What about? Wait, now you're confusing me because I'm sure somebody.
Well,
Never mind.
Nolan
Chris,
and
the
I,
point is,
Crispy and I played a bunch of Watch
A whole
Dogs 2. I
bunch
think
of
both of us got close to the end, but neither of us ever finished it.
the point is, I've been playing some Watch Dogs 2. I'm almost done with it. This game is actually very impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's last time I played this, I'd only played like 5 or 6 hours now, and I'm approaching like the 25-hour mark at this point. And I've gotten to the point where like pretty much the one thing I wanted to say about it is like it's amazing how different of a game this is from Watch Dogs 1. This is very much a situation of like Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so because it seems this entire game seems like a kind of a response to the reception of Watch Dogs 1. The whole thing, like everyone complained about the character, like the characterization or the personality of the characters in Watch Dogs 1. Every character in this game has personality. They're all like super colorful characters and like fun to watch interact. There's some genuinely good moments and dialogue and character interactions going on in this game. But like most importantly, like what I love about this game so far is that any given like combat scenario, like just how different this is from almost any other like third person shooter I've ever played. Because like once you start to get the hang of how everything works and how you can quickly go from like how you like at the beginning of the game I was very overwhelmed by like all the things you could like quote unquote hack and like interact with stuff, but like the way they've kind of like worked that into like the way like when you're driving and you see like and it hones in on like traffic lights and stuff and you can trigger those while you're driving, like at first it seems very overwhelming, but like by the time you get towards the end of this game, you start to feel like kind of invincible. Like you can, like you can kind of do all these things on the fly, and like you can pull your phone out and hack someone, and then, or like hack someone's phone, or hack something to make it explode, then pull out your gun and shoot another dude, and then
Hack
like
a manhole cover.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like it, I think especially with the first game, maybe it was too focused on like trying to take itself seriously, and this game kind of leans into the like lunacy of the whole thing, right? Like you're hacking, you can't like hack all this shit. There's some, it's like not in the way that they're portraying it, but like they do all this stuff in the service of like making a game that is fun to interact with. So like this mission right here, like I'm trying to figure out a way onto these buildings. You're not flying around like helicopters and stuff in this game, so it's like half the time anything's happening in this game and it's happening up above street level. It's very much like a puzzle. Like how the hell? Oh, wait, by the way, watch this. I accidentally hacked this motorcycle and it almost runs this guy down. That was that was fantastic. But like it's very much like a puzzle. Like trying to figure out the best way to get to higher ground is like part of the fun of the game. Like, and in this scenario, like it didn't really point this out to you. Like I think in any other game, like it's like get to the top of this building, and in any other game it would have said like go to find this crane and use the crane to lift yourself up over to the other building. But in this game it doesn't do that. It just shows you where the objective is, and you kind of have to look around the environment and figure out how to get up to it. And there's any number of ways you can technically do it. Like I could have gone on the freeway and taken a car and tried to like jump the car over the thing and land on the roof, or I could have taken the crane up here and hacked my way onto it and like literally lift myself across the building and land on the rooftop. Yeah. Like all kinds of shit in this game.
Seems cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And like some of the missions they have you doing is just like really creative stuff. Some of it's really funny stuff going on too. I don't know. I'm really digging the game. One thing I've kind of realized though is like I typically love like open world games. I think I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm over it, but like I'm not really as thrilled playing games that take place in like recognizable urban settings. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's why GTA doesn't quite do it for me the way like Red Dead does.
Boring.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think this is a really.
Well, this
but you are interacting with that world in a way that is completely different than anything else.
San Francisco, right?
Yeah, it's San Francisco. And with that said, it's a really good recreation of San Francisco. There's a lot of like I've been to San Francisco a couple times, and there's a lot of recognizable landmarks and stuff that I was like, oh, I've been here. This is totally cool. And it feels alive. Like a lot of the like NPCs walking the street feel real. There's a lot of dialogue going on. The fact that you can kind of learn more about people just by aiming your phone at them and like learning like what their income is and like what their hobbies are. That stuff is really cool.
Size of their penis.
But yeah, but I don't know. Like I don't get nearly as excited about exploring this world as I would be like playing something like The Witcher or Red Dead Redemption, that kind of thing. So part of that makes it like I like Watch Dogs as a series, and I especially want to see where they go with this, especially if they kind of keep going down this path of like every game has a new character and it focuses on a different city and that kind of stuff. But like, you don't have the context of what's going on in this mission.
It's the future.
He's memeing, Brad.
Yes, this is Carlos in the future. But you know, like it's kind of hard to get excited about the future of the franchise just because I'm not. I mean, like it's exciting. Like I will undoubtedly, if they make a Watch Dogs 3, I will play it.
Isn't it crazy we haven't heard about a new Watch Dogs yet?
I would say that's a good thing.
Yeah, I prefer.
Like they're putting they're not necessarily going the Assassin's Creed route. They're putting some space in between it. And maybe this didn't sell well. I don't.
What if Watch Dogs 3...
Look at this. I just decided to leave this place by going on the crane and dropping myself onto the highway, and then I steal someone's car as they're coming at me. Because like as cars are coming at you, you can actually tap L1 and like hack them.
Yeah, and then like
so like and you'll make them like steer the wheel and like to the right and like hit stuff. So like I'm gonna take this car. Hack. Spins out of control. He freaks out, and I just run up, steal the car. Like
that was really mean.
Really mean, but really fun.
What if Watch Dogs 3 is the most ambitious sports game of all time?
Sports game?
Yeah.
Because it's Ubisoft?
Because it's Ubisoft. Look at Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, because they're doing something like a totally different genre at this point. I mean, I don't know. I'm saying is
Watch Dogs 3 is a tactical like shooter, like a turn-based.
Here's the thing, like
You're acting like them embracing the space angle in Beyond Good and Evil, though, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
More the scope.
I feel a debate coming.
More the scope.
Yeah, we don't need a debate. Nick likes Watch Dogs too. That's
all I'm
cool.
saying is like, you know, if they're gonna make a Watch Dogs 3, I really hope it's like dramatically different.
So I do
because
I
do like the series.
About Watch Dogs 2 and you.
Yeah.
Have you turned back on random encounters yet?
Yes, and I'm still a little confused by I did a few like online events, and I'm not good at them. Like no matter how good I feel like I am at the game, like it's the moment I start seeking out some like online interactions, I'm terrible. So you know that shit kind of sucks. I mean, it's cool. It's a really cool idea, but the people who are playing online at this point, especially since the game has been out for like a year and a half, 2 years now, they're just leagues, but they've been playing it forever, and they're much better than I am. But
sure.
I like the idea. It's pretty cool, especially when the stuff kind of happens randomly in the world. which is nice. But
Okay.
haven't had many like super great. I know you had a lot of cool stories when you were playing it. I wish I kind of had some of those myself. I have a feeling I'm going to finish the game before I ever have that clicking moment. You know what I mean? But the base game is still pretty dope.
Cool.
Anyways, that's all I have. I'm not going to say anything about Resident Evil. I will say I am still playing Resident Evil 0, and holy shit, I almost got stuck in that game, but I got out of it. Just going to say that next time I stream it, I'll be in a good... I was literally, I shit you not, having a moment where I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to restart Resident Evil 0, and I was like 8 hours into the game.
Wow.
But I managed to get through it. Anyways, let's go to the news. There's not a whole lot of news, but there's still some stuff worth mentioning. I kind of want to start with the Amy Hennig story.
Yeah.
Amy Hennig's a big deal. We were all very much anticipating the... first of all, Amy Hennig being one of the lead writers on Legacy of Kain and Uncharted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a few years ago, it was announced she was working on a Star Wars game for EA. Everybody got super fucking excited. They showed like a single... What was it like? Was it like a GIF practically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Of the game, which looked really cool. And then last year, of course, we found out about the closure of Visceral Games, and then there was a whole bunch of questions as to whether Amy Hennig's game was still happening. And then it was found out that the game was sort of canceled or repurposed and shifted to a different team, and nobody knew what the hell was going on with Amy Hennig. And it turns out in an interview this week, she confirmed that she actually hasn't worked for EA since January.
Yeah.
And not only that, she is officially starting an indie studio, which is probably good. I think at this point she's like tired of being like bounced around, I would imagine. So this would give her some creative leeway to kind of do whatever she wants, which is nice. Brad sighing, how do you feel about this?
Well, I mean, you always want someone talented to like end up somewhere big, right?
Yeah.
You've seen these larger like game directors and stuff go indie and maybe not be so successful at it, so
Oh, I think.
How about they go to Square Enix and she can reboot Soul Reaver?
Are you slowly? Are you subtly, not or maybe not so subtly, alluding to like Cliff Bleszinski and David Jaffe?
Yeah, those are two.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a little concerning. And also, she was talking about stuff that projects she's starting to look into because she wants to open a studio with a very small team focused on creating multiple projects. And she said she wants to look very heavily into like VR, which as a developer, it sounds like really cool, but for people who are very familiar with her work in the past, it may not be what they want to hear her saying she's going to be working on. You know what I mean? Not to say that she couldn't do some cool stuff there, but like going from like writing Uncharted to potentially writing a story for Star Wars.
Not just writing; she was like creative director.
Yeah,
I mean, she created Uncharted.
Yeah. So going from creating something like Uncharted to creating a new Star Wars game to working in an indie studio on VR games is not necessarily maybe what people are wanting to hear.
As long as it's not an arena shooter, I think she'll be okay.
That's true. I mean, the thing is, she has pretty good pedigree as far as like stuff that she's worked on. So maybe she could produce some like really thoughtful, like well told, games with like well told stories and stuff in the VR space. Which
I would have to imagine.
No,
I would love to see more of that.
I would not be extremely opposed to that. I've had some pretty good experiences in VR, and I think a well told story. I don't know exactly how the VR medium would work, but I would trust that if you can craft this really good story and somehow, I don't know if it would be on rails or definitely something like Resident Evil 7 has proved that you can have an open world kind of 3D thing.
I want to see more games like Moss
in
too.
VR, exactly like Moss. But I think there's a lot of potential there. I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Yeah. It'll be. I'm just glad she's doing something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that we're talking about VR as being like a weird fit. Like I think
it's just
that space more than pretty much any other part of gaming is like pretty forgiving and pretty easily applicable to like story heavy only games.
But
like,
it's a scale.
Like even ones that don't. Well,
I just think we haven't seen a lot of we haven't had a lot of successes yet necessarily in that space. So like until we have like a steady supply of like those types of experiences.
I don't know, man. I think
there's always the exceptional game, sure, but I mean,
I just
you know,
don't.
There's
it's
not a lot
like
of stuff
when
that's
you
on
heard
our
someone was
radar,
making a
maybe,
Kinect
but-
game. It's
I mean,
like,
it's just like I don't think Amy Hennig's gonna go make something like super hot. You know what I mean?
no.
Like she's historically speaking worked on like pretty specific type of experience. But like, who's to say she can't apply those in like, some really creative, interesting ways? So who knows? Like I'm saying, like if she's gonna make a studio of like 6 to 8 people and work on like a VR, like a third person or. I would say like I keep going back to Moss. Like I would love to see someone of her talents working on an experience similar in scope, maybe to something like Moss.
Cool,
'cause that'd
Brad?
be cool.
I still want to play Moss, but I'm not going to buy it.
You know what'd be cool?
You can play mine. I have it on
Disc?
Yeah.
Well, they're sending me one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In VR, Gorogoa. Like a game like that in VR would be really fucking cool.
Yeah. That would
It's
look
all,
really
it's all
crazy.
about like perspective and stuff like that.
Manipulating.
But it's all about I mean, that would be really interesting because it's all about
like imagine actually looking
the perspective
into,
of a 2D image.
Correct, but
Yeah.
imagine trying to do that in 3D. Like, imagine the possibilities.
Man, I really, really, really wanted to try
don't
Tetris Evolution at E3, and like Krispy and I were trying to get in the demo, and they did that stupid PlayStation app thing again, and
Oh,
So
man.
bad.
fucking didn't get to do it.
We didn't
I
get
hate
to see
that app. I hate
Transference.
that
We didn't
app.
get to see any cool VR stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to play Transference. That could be cool.
What else is in the news, Nick?
Can we
So
just get Luminous VR?
yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah.
Hitting with another news topic, Chris Davis. There's 2 others. Oh yeah. So first of all,
That's an interesting announcement.
Google has announced that they're looking into entering the console market by working on some kind of competing hardware that's going
They
to.
say it's going to compete with PlayStation and Xbox.
Yes. First of all, this is all to me until I see it. I don't really believe this is going to ever happen. I feel like it's going to be one of those things that sounds like it never leaves kind of like the conceptual stages, and not to. I think it's kind of a dangerous move because Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo have very much for the longest time kind of been impenetrable, right? As far as the console market goes, like we've seen other platforms come in, try to make their way into it, and kind of be forgotten really quickly. And I just don't think it's as simple as like we're gonna make a console and it's gonna compete with these things because you got to get.
Microsoft did it once.
That is true. I mean, no, I'm saying I wouldn't want it to
The
happen.
richest man in the world all of a sudden wanted to make games, and it happened.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm not saying that
Jeff
I
Bezos
wouldn't.
isn't exactly poor.
I wouldn't. It's not that I wouldn't want it to happen because I think it's.
Jeff.
Wait, no,
fucking-
hold on. Sorry, I'm sorry. Jeff Bezos is Amazon.
It's
Who owns
Amazon.
Google?
Oh God, why would
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Google.
you? Jeff Google. I like it.
I don't know.
Oh God, I can't even imagine the name of the
But
console.
they probably are rich, whoever
The
they
Google.
Yes.
The Google.
You don't say.
are. The Google brothers.
The thing is, like, this kind of thing is obviously probably at some point inevitable, right? We're eventually going to have another player into the field, right?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Sega's coming back.
I don't think that's necessarily a given. I think the general trend has been this space has been getting smaller and smaller until either there's going to be
One.
one or none. Left.
It's
Yeah.
gotten bigger and bigger. Also, like the industry,
It's gotten smaller and smaller.
I mean,
and
it's
bigger
down to
and
3
bigger.
players, and one of them is performing half as well as the other 2.
But it's always only ever been 3, right?
Well,
I mean, Xbox got in when Sega was getting out.
there was a long time where there were 3 competitive players,
And not to
now
mention,
there's
like
2.5.
not to mention, like, sure, they have like all the money in the world and they can make a console enter the market, but like you gotta have developers, like third-party developer support. They gotta want to make games for it, and you gotta convince them to make games for it when you have no install base and no
Man,
history.
Just imagine all the studios that Google would buy up, though.
Yeah.
You know, like that's sad. You don't want to see that because if it goes bad, like remember, I'm not a huge fan of this studio, but remember when what did Double Helix become? They got renamed or something.
You're not thinking of Climax?
No, not Climax. Double Helix got renamed to something that they did
Oh,
Killer
they were-
Instinct.
they
They,
were
did.
Were they bought by Amazon?
Yeah, they were bought by Amazon to make games. They I think made 2 games that both got canceled, and then the Amazon publishing kind of went nowhere,
Oh God.
from what I understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you don't want to see shit like that happen. What's that fucking studio called? They make
Somebody in chat
They made
must
Killer
know.
Instinct. They made that Strider game.
Well,
they made Front Mission Evolved.
I thought they
made
were
a bad
called Double
Silent Hill
Helix.
game.
They were
Yeah,
called
but
Double Helix.
They got renamed.
But I
don't
don't know. Can you? But like, Chris Davis brings up a good point in chat. Like, can you imagine like all the Google integration? You know what I mean? Like, imagine a console made by Google, and like think of like all the weird shit that's gonna like bridge the gap between their search engine and like Google Plus and all this shit in their console. It's gonna be weird. I don't know. Wait, Unknown Addict in chat says it's just called Amazon Game Studios.
Well, now
Double Helix was renamed to Amazon Game Studios. That sounds weird.
no.
Brad disagrees.
Brad says you're wrong. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. I think this is still a very long way away.
I mean, I'm definitely, I can definitely see it happening.
What if they're just waiting for all the other...
Google has plenty of money. I mean, their hands are going everywhere. I mean, they're, self-driving cars are a big thing they're putting money into.
What if they're waiting for the console to die out, like everyone says it's eventually going to happen, and then they're going to release their own?
Phones. Samsung tried to go big with the VR on their phones, and they didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, Google definitely has more legroom to do it. The whole what was the fucking thing called where the voice calls? There's a term for that. The Google's AI that would make calls for you.
Phones.
I forget what it's called now.
I don't recall.
There's a name for it. I think it starts with like a D. I can't remember what it's called though. But yeah, that whole. I mean, them getting into video games would not shock me in the slightest.
No, I mean,
or trying.
But
It might fail.
but I have no doubt they'll try and do it, but will it be successful? I think that's the real question.
I think they could come in and definitely get like cloud streaming services like down. That's always been tough for people to do, but they literally own like an entire platform for cloud computing.
Were you thinking of Google Glass?
No, I was not thinking of Google Glass. It's the fucking new thing they just announced at Google I/O this year. I can't remember what it's called. Like Google Duplex. Thank you, SMG Duplex. If y'all haven't seen that, go and check that out. It's pretty interesting. It's essentially a robot that can call and make a reservation at a restaurant for you, or book a hair appointment. Like it's a AI that will have a two-way conversation with a real person.
That's what everybody was like. There were stories being written like, "This is really creepy."
Yeah,
It'd be so much cooler if it was an actual robot, like picking up a phone.
I guess
doing
so.
the analog.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I could definitely see them getting in to that market.
We'll keep an eye on that because that does sound interesting. And the last thing there's not really a whole lot of meat to talk about here, but Turtle Rock Studios, the guys who worked on Left 4 Dead and Evolve are apparently working on a new unannounced title in a globally known franchise.
Yeah.
I guess my question here is
globally known?
StarCraft.
So Japanese.
StarCraft.
I mean...
Yeah, if they say globally known, they mean Japanese. Because they wouldn't use that word.
Well, not necessarily. You could have a Western property that's well known in Japan. That wouldn't be globally known.
No. I'm telling you, this means Japanese. They wouldn't use the word globally.
Global means Japan, Nick. Don't you know this?
No.
Japan is
what
the
are you
globe.
talking?
You have
Globally
games developed in Japan, and then you have games developed in the West. They generalize it to the West.
But they're not even talking about it. They're not even. The franchise may not even be a video game franchise. It could be a property, an IP that is popular globally. That's all that means. Like, it could be like fucking Aliens is a globally known franchise. Like,
so they do multiplayer games.
Iron Man is a fucking
Predator.
globally known franchise. It could be anything. Like, the reason there's not a lot to discuss here is because that could literally be anything. It doesn't have to be Japanese.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is,
Harry
when
Potter.
people say globally, I think what they mean is the East and the West.
That's racist.
But I think it's what they mean, at least when it comes to video games.
I think you're making assumptions, Brad.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe, let's see, Turtle Rock. Matthew Colville works for them as a writer. And he's been getting kind of popular online for D&D stuff. Maybe Wizards of the Coast was like, hey, Turtle Rock, make a D&D game for us and have this guy write it.
So is Turtle Rock... So here's the one question I have. Is Turtle Rock like...
multiplayer.
Oh, well, my question is that all Turtle Rock is going to ever be able to make? Like, is like that style of like asynchronous, not asynchronous, but like,
I mean, if it's what they're good at.
Because they've never tried or been given the opportunity to try something else? Like, what if they just made like a single player game? like a normal single player game.
Nick,
Multiplayer games.
I know
are
that's
normal.
what you want.
I mean,
But
it's just like
it's-
it would be more interesting than them just doing another like Left 4 Dead clone in a different franchise.
Hey, okay. Stop. First of all, Left 4 Dead's fucking amazing. We all gave it
It's
our
dead. It's
multiplayer
dead.
game of the year that year,
It's
including
dead.
you.
Yeah, but
Secondly,
they're never gonna make another one.
Evolve
I'm pretty
was
sure it's in
unsuccessful.
development.
They did a lot of like stupid things with like microtransactions and whatnot, but like it was still like a really novel idea at the time
Sure,
that a lot of people ended up copying.
sure.
Um,
They're making a battle royale game.
I mean, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god, when is somebody gonna do like a fantasy themed battle royale game?
Ew.
Give it 6 months and you'll have one. I'm sure.
Wait.
Realm Royale.
Wizard
But this one-
battles.
But this one's gonna be battle royale with
Oh,
cheese.
that'd be so cool. You just run around trying to find pages to a spell book, and then you get more spells, and the circle gets smaller, and it's probably like a ring of fire or a dragon or some shit. Guys, I could write battle royale games all day, and
I'm
they're
just
all
saying.
gold.
But Crispy,
Don't-
what about a battle royale with cheese?
Don't say they would make another
Zero round
uninspired Left 4 Dead clone or something. That's overkill that makes Left 4 Dead clones. You know what's funny? I heard people talking about the overkill Walking Dead as like, oh man, they're doing it's like what's his fucking bank robbing? It's like Payday, but with zombies.
Bank robbing.
But Payday was just them taking Left 4 Dead and doing it with bank heists.
Pretty much.
So now they're just directly copying Left 4 Dead now.
Chris Davis, rebuttal.
No.
No,
Yes.
no rebuttal.
Also, I played.
Fucking
the
yes,
demo
I know.
of
And I
Overwatch.
listened to your podcast. It sounds like a trash fire.
Ooh.
I mean, that's not
It w-
too far off topic, but that's a little harsh.
It was rough. That's not the point here, guys.
Not the point.
Not the point here.
The point is, don't be mean to what's it called? If they are making a multiplayer
Turtle Rock?
game. Turtle Rock.
All right, I'll stop being mean to
Stop
Turtle
being
Rock.
mean to Turtle Rock, Nick. You're such a bully.
Yeah, Nick.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyways, let's move on. That's all the news we have today. Nolan, I'm gonna hand it over to
The
you.
community. We have a new patron.
We do.
Random hero.
Yes. Random hero. Thank you for subscribing.
Thanks for
on
being our
Pa-
hero and
Thank you
becoming
for
a patron.
supporting us on Patreon. We really appreciate
We appreciate you so much. If you didn't know Random Hero, we post a thread on Patreon every week where you can ask us a question. I noticed you didn't ask us a question this week.
Did we get a lot of questions this week?
We got about 6.
Oh, that's
Why
more.
didn't
I
Feel
missed last
free
week.
to ask a question next week.
Yeah.
You know, have
All
the
it takes,
ability.
if you guys throw $1 our way every month, you can ask us any question you
I
want.
mean,
and we'll
don't
answer
throw it. It probably won't make it to us.
Yeah, okay.
Like becoming a patron and subscribing
Pledge
is
it.
probably a better
pledge
way
it
to
to
do
us via Patreon, and we'll answer any question you want
Yeah.
right here on the podcast every single week.
I mean, if you want to take that $1 and put it in an envelope and put a stamp on it, what is it, 43 cents now?
Something
Oh my
like that.
god, is
and
it?
then-
Who sends
yeah.
snail mail
Oh.
anymore?
And then mail it to us. That would be acceptable as well. Are you legally allowed to mail? Yeah, you can mail money. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
I think it has
mail
to be
money
under
all
a
the
certain
time.
amount, though.
I have to mail. The only way I can pay my HOA fee is via snail mail.
Really?
That is the dumbest thing, right?
Next
The
time you
dumbest
send
thing.
it, you should rub
Dude,
a snail on
That's
it.
almost as dumb as having
Maybe
an
stick a
HOA.
snail in it.
I agree, Crispy. I definitely agree.
But anyway, let's get to some questions that our patrons have asked us this week.
Yes, let's do it.
First question from Sir Thomas Thipple.
Thipple.
It's actually Sir Thomas Tipple.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Thipple.
There's always one.
Michael Bay,
No.
Paul W.S. Anderson,
Kill.
or
No.
Roland
Wait.
Emmerich.
Who is Paul W.S. Anderson again?
Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Married
Ugh.
to Mila Jovovich.
And Roland Emmerich.
And Roland Emmerich.
And who's that?
Here's a funny thing.
Wait, who's Roland Emmerich?
He already fucked Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, I did.
Wait.
Roland Emmerich is Independence Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
2012.
2012?
Yeah. You know what's funny about Roland Emmerich though is that he's a weird guy.
He is weird.
His
don't
works
say.
his works are very simplistic and populist, but there's something going on there. There's something going on under the hood, I think.
Kill Roland Emmerich.
No, kill Michael
Marry
Bay.
Michael Bay because he's got the most money probably.
Oh yeah, he's
And fuck Paul W.S.
Michael
Anderson because he might invite his wife into the bedroom.
But Michael Bay would just explode all over you all the time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Plus,
How did I know this was going to go there? I'd kill Michael Bay because what the hell?
I'd fuck Michael Bay just because that'd be a night to remember.
Explosions.
Yeah.
Explosions everywhere.
Yeah.
Just when you have your mouth on Paul W.S. Anderson's cock.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Just remember, it's like, hey,
Don't
Hey.
say it. I know where you're going with this. Just stop yourself, Brad.
I love cock. That's
No, okay.
that's what you'd be thinking. Nate.
All right. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh my god.
Next question from Alice.
That one
Alex,
got weird.
With summer games done quick this week, do you watch any difficult games get destroyed by runners through glitches, clipping, or raw skill?
I do not.
so
watch
I
those.
did watch Banjo-Tooie. That was the first game that was done. They beat it in 44 minutes with an estimated 47. But yeah, it mainly just because I hadn't played that game in so long, and it just happened to catch the beginning of it. And I was like, oh, let me watch it, and I watched the whole thing.
I don't know why.
Is
I
it-
can't get into like watching speedruns. I can't do it.
Do you
But then
know-
again, I don't watch
So Nick,
regular
I will say one of the
streams
cool
either.
things about it is not just the fact that it's a speedrun, but it's the fact that it's them talking about the speedrun as they're doing it, talking about how the speedrun has evolved over time. The fact that Banjo-Tooie, it used to be like an over 2-hour speedrun.
Yeah.
But that's because the way they did it, they didn't realize there was a certain way you could do a move that would allow you to get to this mountain area to get the skill sooner, which completely changes
Sequence breaking.
sequence breaking, but it completely changes the route you take. Which means in the past you used to have to get 76, I think, jiggies to beat the game, but with doing it this way, you can actually get 14. Is the
Jeez.
minimum you can get.
No, I think that's fascinating.
And
and
I like listening to them talk about that and explain, like, oh, this as in speedrunners for the most part aren't like assholes. They're really nice with each other, and they share their strategies and they talk about things together. And oh, what if we did this? What if we tried it this way? And there's all the ways they find that. Some of it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't watch them all. I don't have time for that.
I mean,
I'm never going to be a
think-
speed runner.
I think for me, I think it's just the time commitment. It's one. More
I don't
thing
like how so many of them are like glitchy bullshit. I want to see like raw skill on display, not like not like I have a clip of me like playing Metroid Prime or something, right? Where I pretend like I'm doing a
speed run.
a speed run, and it's me just like standing in a location and looking up and spinning around and looking up, and all of a sudden I jump and I just bypassed 40% of the game. And it's like, that's not cool. I know it's interesting that the way they found all that shit out, but then the community learns how to do that, and then it's all about
doing
performing
it
that thing, and it's like, I like when somebody's really good at fucking Quake because they're doing like insane like rocket jumps and shit, and they can get through a level super fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool stuff to me. But I feel like there's less of that these days. It's more of just breaking and glitching games.
Yeah, and that like I get that a lot of people, that's just like how they choose to like interact with games, and that's like a big part of how they love it, and I love watching those people like get into it and do their thing and have fun with it, and watching how some of these things are done, like you said, is really interesting. But like my brain doesn't get why any of that would be fun or desirable or enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's about recognition.
I know,
Being able to beat the record, and
I
your
know,
name goes in a
I
record
know.
book. You have, you beat this the fastest.
but it's like, it's so like, I don't know, like I just think about other things. Like I think about like novels and like movies and stuff like that.
That's your
and people
interest.
don't take books and like rip pages out and rearrange them and go like, look how much better it is. Like, it's just, I don't get it. And that's like one of my, I guess I'm an old person and I'm just not hip to
this fucking guy.
I really
over
like
here.
classic Tomb Raider speedruns, especially because some of that stuff is so physically hard to do, and to see someone like do it so fast and perfectly and do these crazy jumps, that stuff's like kind of incredible
All
for
right,
me.
let's move on. We've been on this one too long. Mr. Green Toasts, would you rather poop in the only toilet at a party, knowing that you're going to clog it, or poop in the bushes in the backyard?
Well, the bushes.
toilet.
While the party's happening?
Toilet, 100%.
But if no one sees, do people see you crap in the
What kind of?
bushes?
First of all, what kind of party is this where there's not people in the backyard as well?
That's true.
There's So that implies that you're going to go out in the backyard, find some bushes.
Plus, if you're in the bushes and you drop trow and then something bites your balls or something, like a bug or like a wasp, like stings you, that's dangerous.
I'd poop in the bushes.
Toilet. Why is it freezing cold outside? What the fuck are you talking about? Who said that? What if it's 104?
We're adding challenges. We're adding...
There's an alligator in the bushes.
Why
would I pick that?
The bushes are poison ivy.
I would poop in the bushes.
Party in the winter.
That is true. They do party in the winter.
But it's not winter right now. You would assume the question is
But
like,
there's a
right
naked
now.
man in the bathroom in the corner watching you take that
Do they
poop.
jerking off.
So why would I choose that one?
Do they have a plunger in their one bathroom?
I think the implication is no.
Why would they not have a plunger?
Yeah, why would you not have a plunger in your
Fuck
one
that. I
bathroom?
would go to the store and buy these people a plunger because they fucking need a plunger.
No, I would...
If they only have one bathroom, there's clearly a toothbrush
First
in
of
that
all,
bathroom.
neither.
Use that toothbrush to unclog the toilet.
Oh, gross.
But, like-
That's disgusting.
You gotta
but
if hey, it's their fault. They don't have a plunger.
why don't they have a plunger? It doesn't make any sense.
Here's...
Yeah, when I was in college, we didn't have a plunger. One of my roommates had to slice a big turd with a wire coat hanger.
I will say,
Why?
I've used a
Because we're
stick
stupid.
before. I've used a stick
What
that I
did
got
you
from
do with the
outside.
stick?
I threw it back outside.
Into the world?
Yes.
There are people out there,
But
Nolan.
you carried the stick over carpet?
I mean, I don't remember.
I'm just picturing
I'm
Nolan
sure I
walking
used
through a...
like toilet paper.
I'm
or
picturing
something.
Nolan walking through a crowded party carrying
It
a
wasn't
poop
at
stick.
a party. It was like a random
Is that
time.
like the stick's equivalent to being abducted by aliens?
Oh my
Pulled
god.
into the light.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next
The answer
question.
is you leave that party and you go home and poop it.
Zero
at home.
Skies. What
party's
giant
worth it?
robot would you pilot and why from any media you've seen?
Damn,
That's a tough
good
question.
I don't know enough giant robots. Oops.
Good
Ooh.
question.
Then maybe answer the question.
Big O.
Big Big O's an interesting one.
Nah, fuck Big O.
Maybe like a Jaeger would be cool. Like a Zoid. A Zoid would be cool.
Wait, are you talking about Jaeger from like Pacific Rim?
Oh, sorry, no.
No, we're
like,
talking about Jaeger,
the
like,
Jaeger
from
is
our
a type
community.
of,
Jaeger from our
Yeah,
community,
wear
yeah.
his skin and
or the
cook
Liger.
food.
You're thinking
Oh,
Liger.
yeah, I meant Liger.
There was the Liger Zero did have like a loadout that was called Jaeger.
That was
Yeah.
combining that.
That would be a cool
Dude,
one.
there's so many mechs. I'm trying
Or
to
Jaeger from Pacific Rim.
maybe from G Gundam, the Gundam that has the sombrero from Mexico.
Tequila Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a.
Is that really what it's called?
Yes, it's racist.
Wow.
as fuck.
I'd pilot
so
a,
Wow.
That's why I
a
want to
nice
pilot it.
chunky Zenith Wanzer from Front Mission.
Man,
Because if I had one of those, people would be like, "That's so cool! Front Mission should be popular again." And we get a new one.
I would probably go with something from Power Rangers.
Because it's a dinosaur.
Megazord? You want to pilot
You
Megazord?
can't pilot Megazord. You need 5 people.
Yeah. Who are your other 4 people?
Perhaps the people in this room,
I'm
Brad.
gonna say fucking Psycho Zaku 2 or the Lightning Gunner from Build Fighters Try or
Ooh, Jehudi from Zone of the Enders.
That's a good one.
That'd be dope. I'm gonna go with Jehudi. That's my final answer.
Ride in that cockpit.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a cockpit.
Don't they all have cockpits?
No, just yeah.
Crispy, you got anything else?
There's
Or
a lot
you
of
gonna move on?
cockpits
one of the
in
Varia
universe.
fighters from Macross.
Okay.
Macross.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to pronounce that? That'd be cool.
Cool. Bless you.
Holy shit,
So,
bless you.
moving on. SMG asks, I'm sure this has been asked before. All right, we'll skip it. With Kingdom Hearts being around, but what is everyone's favorite Disney movie? No Marvel movies don't count. I'm talking about princesses and cartoons. Mine is Lilo and Stitch.
Whoa,
That's
you
what
don't hear
SMG
that
says.
one very
yeah,
often.
that's not.
I'll agree with that.
Apparently, he's speaking of Lilo and
Chris
Stitch.
Davis says Lilo and Stitch.
I went to this poke burrito place. Have you ever been there?
The one that's right up there. I've never been there. I've
By
been meaning to.
IKEA?
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
good.
That. Yeah,
It's good.
I've heard good things about it.
They have. You can get it completely wrapped in ground up hot Cheetos.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Really?
Wait, what does it have to do with Disney?
Well, he said Lilo and Stitch. It's Hawaiian.
Oh.
Poke is Hawaiian.
Poke bowls.
I'm
a big fan of Mulan.
Mulan's pretty good. I also, if I had to go with like old school, I mean, maybe The Lion King, but I also like Tangled was really good.
I like Beauty and the Beast.
I don't like Beauty and the Beast. I rewatched it not too long ago.
Well, maybe I don't want to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's not as good as you
Aladdin's
remember.
really fucking
It's
good.
good.
I like Aladdin.
Mulan's really good. I think Hunchback of Notre Dame is
I
fucking
hate that
criminally
movie.
underrated.
I hate that movie.
Criminally, it has Hunchback of Notre Dame probably has one of, if not the best soundtrack of like any of those 90s.
I do like
movies.
Hercules.
So good.
I do like the Jungle Book.
The Bells of Notre Dame.
What about Tarzan?
I don't like Tarzan.
You don't like Tarzan?
Don't like Tarzan.
I don't like Jungle Book. Atlantis is pretty good.
You don't like Jungle Book?
Jungle Book is classic.
I wanna be like you,
Okay, sure, it's classic, but
ba-ba-dee-dee.
that doesn't mean I have to like it.
What have you tried watching the live action one?
Yes, I've seen that
I
one.
wanna walk like you, talk like you.
I like the Aristocats.
Ugh.
You say
I'm just
it's
fucking kidding.
true, baby, honey, black
That's from their
baby,
shitty era.
baby, can learn to be human too. Yeah, Jungle Book. So good. Sure. So good.
Thank
Do
you.
we count Pixar?
No.
No.
Did they say
He's
no
talking.
Pixar?
He's talking about just.
I don't think
normal
they said
Disney.
no Pixar.
He's
I think
classic
that-
They
Disney.
said princesses and cartoons.
Computer animated is modern Disney.
Nobody
I
said
mean,
Toy Story. Oh yeah,
Toy Story is Pixar.
yeah, you're right. Never mind. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, Sword in the Stone. Oh, remember the Rescuers and
I
the
like
Rescuers
Wall-E.
Down Under?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Wall-E's
Great
good.
Mouse Detective. If we're talking about cartoons, that one's
Has
real.
anybody seen The Incredibles 2 yet?
No,
Yes, I
I've
saw it.
not.
Is it any good?
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's good. I would say it's. I mean, it's right up there with the. You know, I'd say The
I heard
Incredibles
the
might be
baby
one of my
fights a
favorites.
raccoon. That's pretty
The
funny.
I saw The
Incredibles is
Incredibles for
really
the first
good.
time last year.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I had never
That's
seen it.
weird.
Shut up.
I had
Why
never
would
seen
you
it.
wait so long to see
I
that?
don't know.
Chris Davis hasn't seen it either.
Oh,
He's been
really?
playing so much Division.
Wait, he's never seen The Incredibles 1? That's
I mean,
so weird,
that's-
though. I thought everybody's seen that.
No, not necessarily. I like I said.
All right, moving
went-
on.
That's
I
good.
didn't realize there was like
Looking
10
good.
years between.
Final question for
First
the
and second
evening from Sherika.
From Sherika.
What are your special skills? Things you do particularly well?
I can bend my fingers back really far.
She said skills, not lame.
That's my
stuff.
skill. That's it.
Um.
God damn it! Don't put us on the spot. We have skills. I swear. Krispy has like a ridiculous memory for like quotes and shit.
Yeah, that's not
He
something.
just fucking sang a fucking Disney song.
He has an angelic singing voice.
Yeah.
Is this just named Crispy Skills? Because
Yeah, I feel like Krispy's easily the
Kind
most
of
talented
I
person
could
here.
use the ego boost.
Krispy's definitely the most talented person here.
I didn't say it.
I got nothing.
I'm pretty good at. No, never mind. I'm not very good.
I
At
feel
that.
like I'm a pretty decent writer. Like,
You know
as
what?
far as like writing things.
You know what? I'm a good.
Write something right now.
I'm a good copywriter, and I feel like I'm pretty good at writing as well.
I'm not.
It's not a bad idea.
Like if I need to bust out 5 pages on a subject for school, like I'm fucking solid.
See, I'm trying I'm trying to like one of my like New Year's resolutions, so to speak, quote unquote, was like to try and do more writing. That's kind of why I'm doing that Resident Evil retrospective thing. I'm trying to write some short articles after I play each one of those, just because I wanted to be writing more. I used to write all the time, and not as much anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna go with writing. Sorry to steal yours, but
I don't think I'm really.
I'm a good host. Thank you, Illumination. I'm a good fucking host.
I think I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm not like really great at anything. Like I do a lot. I do a
Nolan's
lot
good
of
at building
things.
stuff.
Well, yeah, but I'm not great. I'm okay at it. That's what I'm saying. Like I think I have a lot of skills that I'm okay at.
I think you're one of the better. I think you're the best networker of anybody here. I think you're better at networking with people. I think organization and leadership are you're probably better at than pretty much
but so
anybody
just
else here.
because I'm better at them than y'all in the room, I still don't think I'm like great at them.
No, but I think those are definitely like real skills that you have.
What he's saying is we suck.
Like,
Just kidding.
Well,
Just
thank
kidding.
you.
Somebody say something nice about Brad.
Brad's a good dad.
Brad's a good debater.
master.
He's
debate.
a master
I didn't
at
say
it.
that. You said that.
Brad has the ability to take any argument you throw at him and turn it around and make it so he's right. That's what Brad's
That
good
is
at.
the skill of a debater.
That's a
Brad
flaw.
has the ability to not quit until you submit that he's right.
He will.
I think I'm very.
That's how he got Malia to marry him.
I feel like I'm very
You're very entertaining and very
determined when I play a video game
to finish it.
to not to
Definitely not to
complete
finish
a
it.
game,
To
but
completion.
to like I will attempt the same jump in trials for hours at a time and like never feel defeated about it.
Okay.
I don't know what you call that.
Stubborn.
tenacity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a certain video
you're
game
tenacious.
tenacity, right?
I'm gonna go with stubbornness.
I think
He's
when
stubborn.
you were passionate about something, when you've got like a very firm opinion, especially when it's a positive opinion about something, you're probably the most convincing.
I don't know. I felt like y'all really didn't believe me that Yoku's Island Express was kind of dope.
Fuck you! I said it was good.
I'm gonna bring Chris
I watched
Davis
you
into this.
stream it, and I was watching your stream, asking you questions about.
You
the
did
game.
such a good job of imparting the joy of that game that I felt like I didn't need to play it.
I'm gonna bring Chris Davis. I'm gonna say Chris Davis is the most responsible of us in here.
Yeah,
Chris
probably.
Davis.
Chris Davis is a very responsible person.
Yeah, I'd agree with
He
that.
does
Probably.
things. He does things. He says he's going to do.
He also has more computer screens than anybody.
I would say he's the best at the division.
He's got the biggest computer.
He does have the biggest computer out of all of us.
Fit a small person inside of it.
That's
also-
smaller than yours.
No.
He's also the
Oh well. At one point, Chris Davis, you had a computer that was like
He's
taller
like a
than
monster.
that.
he's also about 100% of all the video production talent that goes into 4Player Network. So
That is true.
I used to
That
do
is true.
some.
yeah, I know.
I used to.
Not like Chris Davis.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Once again, jack of all trades, master of none.
But what?
well,
All
this
right,
is
anyway.
now that we're done
Tooting each other's
tooting
toot
each other's
boxes.
horns. That sounds weird.
I didn't say it. I said toot boxes. Thanks to all the questions this week from our lovely patrons. Once again, we post a thread every week on patreon.com/4player. And if you are a patron, which means you donate at least $1 or more a month, you can ask us any question you want.
You also get early access to every podcast we release. 24-hour early access without ads.
No ads.
No ads.
I'm really good at going to sleep.
God.
Chris Davis is not.
I'm really good at keeping y'all from
That is true. Chris Davis is the best. You know,
He's not that good at breathing. But he's really good at making videos.
Oh my god. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode, guys. It's time for the 4-player minute. You know what that means. Hype, sweat, thank you, or fuck you, or any combination of that thereof. So, Brad, would you like to start us off?
Sure. My hype, I'm going to
Brad's
give it...
really bad at delivering his 4-player minute in under a minute.
Yes. But I'm very good at thinking a lot about it before I start.
That's great.
Which might be why they're so much longer.
Man, way to turn that around.
My hype is for WarioWare Gold.
Ooh, yeah.
From what I understand, I believe it comes out next week.
Fuck me, does it?
I think, or maybe the week after, but I'm very excited about that. I really like WarioWare. No one's talking about it, but I know Nolan thinks it's cool.
Dude, I do. Yeah, no, I've always been a fan of WarioWare games. It's just more of like Nintendo, like they just haven't been hyping up their shit.
Yeah.
If it's not Pokemon or like Smash, they're like, oh, by the way, Wario's a thing. All right, bye.
Yeah, I know. Weird. My sweat, I'm going to go for kind of the stuff that I'm letting slip. Not just the stuff I started, but the stuff that, like just this week, the Donkey Kong Mario and Rabbids DLC, which is like really substantial, came out. And I really want to play that, but I let it slip, man. Also, Lumines Remastered came out for like the Switch, and that's like a good platform for that. And you know,
Oh, that's the perfect.
it's like I love Lumines, but I'm just letting it slip, man. Also, my gaming time, Jesus. What Subnautica? Remember, I'm like the biggest Subnautica guy here.
Clearly
Bitch,
not.
I
was-
beat that game.
I know, but what I'm saying is like,
I'm the biggest Subnautica guy here.
no, you're not. You're still not.
55 hours of Subnautica. This guy right
The thing
here.
is, I
never got a pet.
was hotly anticipating
That's right, I
Subnautica even before it ever launched on early access. Like, and it's an underwater thing, but Monster Hunter came out, and that's all I played.
George
And
is playing Subnautica
I
right
never
now.
got. I've been playing a little bit. I finally
Dude, that
got
game is
the
so
little, sea moth.
That game is so
You
good.
Just got the Seymour.
I haven't been playing it,
Jesus,
but I love it. That's a really good game.
it's really good.
You should
So
finish
yeah,
that.
my sweat is myself. My thank you, I'm going to give it to, first of all, Roland, who donated his Bloodstained demo, but
That's
also
very
Vunic
nice.
and Green Toast and Kenton, because they all gifted me stuff fairly recently. Pretty cool stuff. Vunic's been really wanting me to play Slay the Spire, and he gifted me that, and I think I might try some of that soon, but I'm a little worried about getting sucked into that. And my fuck you, I'm going to give it to level 5.
Ooh,
So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Nina Cooney.
Ni no Kuni 2 finally patched in
Yep.
2 harder difficulty modes. One of the reasons I stopped playing and I wanted to wait is because everyone said that game's way too fucking
It was
easy.
really easy. I will say, Brad,
I'll have
that
to start
the game,
over, won't I?
the game itself was easy, but there was some like the overworld battle like section of the game was like hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I hope the patch made those easier, if anything.
So I watched a video. They released a video of the differences,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why they're getting my fuck you, because all they did was like give the enemies way more hit points. So they showed this is expert mode, and it showed the dude just wailing on this little tiny fucking enemy over and over and over and over again, and the health was just going down a little bit. And I'm like, this is not how you do a harder difficulty. This is the laziest bullshit. And
It was the fastest thing they could do. Though.
I was, well, the game's been out for a few months, and I was really excited to kind of get back into this, even so much that I gameplayed it again. They already sent it to me, hoping to get back into this. Then I watched this video, and I'm like, it kind of killed my boner, I don't know if this is the definition of harder in the way that I wanted from this game. So, anyways, that's all.
Cool. Nolan?
All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My sweat is for Bloodstained. After playing that demo and the conversation we had on the show tonight, I want it to be good. I want it to be great. I'm just worried, like Brad was saying, I'm going to get like another Mighty Number 9 where all the hype's just going to fall flat and it's not going to be what we wanted.
Remember, there's still probably like realistically maybe another year worth of development
I
on
understand.
I'm scared.
My sweat is for Binding of Isaac 4 Souls. New Binding of Isaac game just got announced the other day. It is a card game. Don't really know what to think about that. I've always been a fan of Binding of Isaac. I have put in countless hours into that game, even back when it was like a Flash game. So there's literally no idea. I have no idea how many hours I put into
Seems
that.
like a good fit.
No, it definitely does. A card game for it does seem like it's a good fit. I just don't really know how it's going to play yet. It's definitely getting backed. I don't remember what it was. Last I checked, their goal was like 50,000, and last time I checked, they were over 100,000. So I mean, definitely it's going to get made. So we'll see what happens. My sweat is for Frostpunk. I acquired a key for that, and I don't know what I want to do about that. Like it's
Just jump in. Don't read up on it.
the only thing I know about it is what we've talked about on the show.
Yeah.
And so, but like my schedule, like other games, like
it's super compelling. That game.
I know.
Just jump in.
Oh, and then my thank you is going to go to Mr. Greentos for that lovely 4-player alphabet video. That was delightful.
Yeah.
Crispy?
All right, my hype is for Wreckingball for Hammond in Overwatch. Like, I just want to hype
That does
more.
look fun.
More in that, I can't wait for him to be integrated into the final updated version and to start to see how he like plays into the meta. To see, what just
Do you think Hammond's
he's
origin
exciting.
story
Yeah.
is going to have anything to do with Richard Greer?
I mean, only as much as any of our origin stories have anything to do with Richard Greer.
Okay.
Why is he called Wrecking Ball when everybody else is like
because
proper names?
like what I was saying, because his name is Hammond, but when he was fighting in Junkertown,
Oh, wait.
like he's a hamster. He can't speak. He's super intelligent, but he can't talk.
Sounds like a dum-dum to me.
When he was fighting in Junkertown, he was pretending to be a person inside a mech, and he just called himself Wrecking Ball. That was his name.
Okay.
But I'm really excited to see what people do with him and how he integrates, because, like I said, he's really exciting because I think he's just one of the most, like, disruptive, like, kind of out of left field sort of characters they've added since launch, really. Maybe Doomfist was pretty new and different and weird, but this is, like, even more so. My sweat is for July. This is like the golden opportunity month of like getting everything out of the way before we start
Before the
dipping
onslaught
back
begins.
into the bad stuff. So I kind of want to. I've got like 3 or 4 different things that I'm
Embrace the backlog.
that I'm lightly involved in at the moment that I would like to make some headway on by the end of July, but I don't know. July is kind of fucked besides, so I don't know. My fuck you for this week is, I don't know, what's a stupid thing that happened?
Carlos. He's a bad Dying Light
Oh, your
companion.
your 4-player minute was not brought to you by Carlos
He
today?
didn't pay me this week.
Yeah, you know what, Brad?
He didn't make his payments this week.
You could have played Dying Light with me
My
back in the day.
Yeah.
my
And I played a shit ton of it.
my endorsement is absolutely for sale, but you gotta pay, you know? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it to the fucking release the Snyder Cut idiots. Like, that whole thing is oh my god, I can't even.
Oh, they're trying to release the
Yeah,
Zack
like,
Snyder
yeah,
version
the
of
conspiracy
Batman versus
theory
Superman.
that, like, Warner Brothers is hiding the Snyder Cut, which is, like, actually a really good version of a movie that they already think was kind of okay because Batman versus Superman was a fucking masterpiece that nobody understands. Oh my god, I'm gonna have an aneurysm just thinking about it. It's fucking terrible, and oh my god,
That's
terrible.
almost as bad as
Terrible.
a Star Wars fan.
I mean, it's like and it's all kind of driven by this irrational fear that, like, Disney and Marvel are, like, at war with the DC universe, which is absurd. But I don't know, just fuck all that noise. That's really stupid. Oh no! You know what? Even worse than that was that stupid fucking Star Wars
That's what I
fan
said. It's
manifesto.
almost as bad as
I
the
didn't hear
Star
what you
Wars
said.
fans. Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
That was really
That's a
fucking
joke,
bad.
though, right?
No, that's
No,
that's
that
people
was,
who.
that was pretty.
That's a bunch of
not
entitled
real.
I
fucks
don't
who think that
As much as anything is a joke nowadays, which I feel like
nothing is.
I feel like everything's like irony doesn't exist anymore, and humor is kind of a weapon. I don't know. My thank you though also goes to Mr. Green Toast. The alphabet video was great, but he also gifted me a copy of the Danganronpa. Which one was it?
The first one.
Yeah, the
Trigger
Happy Havoc. That's what it's called. I can't remember. It's some kind of alliterative name.
I think you'd like those.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I was reading up on it. It looks really dope, and I wanna get through that at some point this July. So thank you, Mr. Green Toast. Maybe I'll stream that one on Sunday. We'll see.
Cool. Thank you, Krispy. And my 4-player minute starts now. My fuck you of the week goes to Brad and Krispy for still not talking about Dying Light on this podcast.
Listen, I got a
What
reason.
the fuck?
I don't
Not a
like
very good
playing co-op games. And no offense to Crispy and Carlos, but they are like polar opposites when it comes to co-op partners. And not to say that that's a bad type of person to co-op with, but also neither of them really talk all that much. So Dying Light has been kind of like us meandering, like, in this world, oftentimes like separate from each other. Which is
Why?
weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But that's also kind of cool that you can do that.
What happens is Carlos is doing whatever the fuck he wants. You don't really know what's going on, so you're just kind of wandering around. And I'm like going to the
Beelining.
objective
Yeah.
because we can all see the objective, and like I
And
don't-
Krispy's the only
Did you
one
ever figure out how to read the map? Like,
But you just like silently going for the objective, and I'm
yeah.
just trying to keep up with you.
No, like, yeah, and I'm sorry. That's definitely a kind of game where, like, you know, I'm gonna put fucking hours and hours and hours and hours into it, and very little of that is going to be any actual, like, progression of the main story. It's just gonna be me running around doing side things or, like, farming this or that or just, like, dicking around. And, like, I just, you know, I don't have, you know, like, I'm very passive when I do that stuff.
You have your solo character.
Yeah.
I think I want to play this my way,
Dude,
and
play
it's
it
not
solo.
It's not one time a week for a few hours. I want to poop sock this game,
Do
and I
it.
want to do it alone.
Yeah, I don't
So
care.
like, let's just ditch Carlos, like, and play our solo character.
If we whisper, he won't hear.
Fuck that guy.
Carlos is
tell
the only one who wants
Carlos.
to play with other people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, totally. I got the grappling hook and
All I'm
everything.
saying,
You already got that?
I don't even care about y'all playing it together. I just wanted to hear what y'all think about it.
So
Anyways,
good.
let's
It
move on.
kind of sucks.
Let's move on.
Actually, you know what, Nick? Hang on. You asked, so I'm going to say something here. I've been doing a lot of combat in that game against human enemies, and it is not good.
No.
my
You know
second
what?
fuck you to me goes to Krispy
You know
because
what?
that's not true.
I'm really enjoying Dying Light, but I agree with him. The human enemies kind of suck.
The human enemies are not fun. Like, fighting zombies is fucking great.
that's fun.
Fighting those human dudes sucks. And, like, that is why I'm worried about 2. Because if they're focusing all the daytime activity on fighting human
maybe they
people,
improved
if they haven't done anything to that combat system, which I know is not likely. I'm hoping they've tuned something up. But if it feels like what this feels like, that's gonna be weird.
I'm just saying, after I spent like 40 hours in that game, like human enemies did not give me a problem, and like in fact, it was just as enjoyable.
It's not that they're hard or anything either. It's just that it's like fucking haptic and like it's just really hectic. It's really just like a scramble, and like half the times there's no real rhyme or reason for why they're dodging or blocking this or that.
Yeah, a lot of the cool stuff that you get to use on zombies doesn't really work on them.
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
like the game's not
There
really
are a lot
designed
more-
You can't kill a person and cover yourself in their blood and
There
then
are
blend
a
in with
lot
the other
more
right, and then
zombies.
the other dudes are like, "Oh, hey, Steve."
Yeah.
Like, I would love that.
There are a lot more zombies than there are humans in that game, anyways. So
I know, and that's why it works in the first one. That's why I'm worried
I
about them
don't
changing
think- I
that
don't think-
balance in the second one.
I just don't think they've shown a lot of the zombie stuff yet in Dying Light 2.
know,
I'm sure there
I
will be
know.
plenty.
Nick, your 4-player minute's going
I
really
know.
long.
I know. I didn't mean 4-2. Fuck
I'm
all
just
you
saying,
guys.
you keep bringing it up, and like that is honestly what I'm thinking about Dying Light right now.
All right, well, fuck me for bringing it up.
It's pretty cool though. Like I definitely want
That's all I wanted to hear.
I def-
That's all I wanted to hear.
Nick, it's a great game.
Right
It's
now,
that one
I-
aspect that's kind of.
I'd rather play that than God of War,
Ooh.
That's-
where I am right now.
interesting.
I mean,
I mean, maybe you're just feeling it. God of War's pretty good, though.
God of War is pretty good. I actually turned that on today, and I started doing some puzzles and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
It's fun.
But I forgot how to play, so I was doing this puzzle, and I'm like, I can't figure it out. How do I get up there to get that chest? I can't figure it out. And I'm like moving the platforms. I can't figure it out. And I like posting pictures in Discord, and all I had to do was hit circle and like pull myself up. But I didn't. I forgot I could do that.
Nice.
That's pretty funny.
Oh,
Anyways,
Jesus.
my thank you this week goes to Nolan and Bernadette for the lovely cake that you surprised me with during the break. I appreciate it. It was very good and very thoughtful. Thank you. My sweat goes to Jurassic World Evolution because I saw the movie and I'm still processing, but it's kind of killed my enthusiasm to play the game a little bit.
Still processing generally means did not.
I mean, it's more. First of all, I don't think it's necessarily off base for like if you've seen the first one. Your opinion is not going to change much from the first one to the second one. So if you like the first one, you'll probably like the second one. If you don't like the first one, you won't like this one. Definitely won't like this one.
I did hear that from multiple people that they got all teary-eyed on a certain dock scene.
I don't know what that
There's
means.
a good moment. Okay,
I don't know
the
what
movie
that
has
means
some
either.
moments. What I'm trying to say is the movie kind of went. They started to tease this direction they were maybe going to go in the first movie, and I was like, I really hope they don't go in that direction. And I watched this movie, and I was like, they're totally going in the direction I didn't want the series to go. And now I'm just like, it was a fun movie to watch, but like, I don't know. And it just kind of makes me like, the game is totally fucking different than what the movie is.
I mean,
now.
without spoiling anything, Nick, can you describe this docking scene that's in the movie?
Yeah, dinosaur docking.
I don't want to spoil that. That's a good moment. It's a good scene. I
With
don't
the
wanna
Brachiosaurus
but no, I'm
and the
not. I'm not
Brontosaurus.
describing the dinosaur docking.
Okay.
But there is a good moment on a dock, and it is kind of sad.
All right.
And my hype is, of course, as you can probably tell, Resident Evil. I am really enjoying Resident Evil 0. I'm kind of itching to play it. I'm trying to do it mostly on the stream if I can, so I've been itching to play more of it, but I'm waiting until I can stream again. I'm probably going to try and squeeze some in on Sunday, maybe even Sunday morning, early afternoon, and then you'll probably see it a couple times next week. So,
Cool.
Crispy, what are you doing?
Oh, God.
That's horrifying. But yeah, I'm really enjoying my Resident Evil playing so far, and I'm like I said, I got Resident Evil 5, 6, and Revelations 2 in the mail today, and it kind of made me like excited to play some of those because one, I haven't finished 2 of them, and the other one I haven't played in a very long time, and I'm just kind of excited to kind of play some of the games that I haven't touched in a long time. So I'm very excited about that. So hopefully you guys will join me on the stream for that. But yeah, that is it. That is the end of our show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Of course, you can find us on 4playernetwork.com. You'll find all of our podcasts there, and you can find us streaming every single night on 4pp.tv. Please join our Discord, discord.gg/4player, and like we said earlier, patreon.com. Patreon.com/4player.
Yep.
We would really appreciate your support. It helps us out quite a bit. So, anyways, guys, until next Thursday night, we'll be back. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
Bye.